Chapter-141 Look for Opportunities. Luhan finally understood why Kurigakure was frightening. Not even the Jonin of Konoha Anbu have any faith in fighting because they will bomb. This kind of attack is simply shameless. If it wasn't Luhan in the forest, but Konoha's ninja brigade, then there must have been heavy casualties at this moment. The only advantage of flying ninjas is that they are in the sky, and for most ninjas in the ninja world, this advantage is an insurmountable moat. Luhan moved frantically in the forest to dodge, and from time to time he would throw back his hand and throw kunai, trying to blow the falling metal ball into the air. In fact, this is not difficult to do, but the question is how many can be hit at a time. But there are 8 flying ninjas. Every time they bombed, dozens of metal balls fell. Luhan couldn't hit all of them in a short time, so he couldn't stay. You can't slow down, you have to keep hiding. Fortunately, this is a forest. The advantage is that Luhan can not only move in parallel, but also jump to the tree. As long as the jumping position is high enough, the flames bursting on the ground will not reach him. But even so, Luhan was almost cornered. I don't believe it. How many of these things did you guys bring? Luhan, who was moving frantically, bit Kiba and muttered. He was already forced to use the shadow flash technique. On the sky. While Luhan was biting Kiba and gnashing his teeth, Biwa, Zhaohu and the others were also full of bitterness and hatred, because they didn't expect Luhan to be able to hide so much. Ordinary Jonin would have died long ago under this kind of bombardment. And the speed shown by Luhan has approached the elite Jonin. Teacher, melee, Feng Hai-kun suddenly said loudly, we can't waste the detonating ball on him. Biwa Zhaohu was silent for a while, and then ordered loudly, melee. Fly ninja melee. Their so-called melee combat is actually to lower a certain flying height so that they can use other means to attack the ground. It is still difficult for ninjas on the ground to fight back. The bombing stopped. Luhan stopped, panting violently and looking up at the sky. The 8 flying ninjas started to dive down almost at the same time. Some throw out the kunai, and some hand seal. Sweden, water style, Dolian water bomb. Sweden, water style, rainstorm. Futon, wind style, Daitapa, great breakthrough. Quote. Kai, 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 kai. Water balloons with a diameter of 1 meter, huge and countless raindrops, and strong winds. Kubu. All kinds of attacks fell from the sky, and the flying height of the 8 flying ninjas has been reduced from 300 meters to 200 meters, which is their standard melee distance. Luhan could already launch a counterattack, but he didn't do that. Hide. Luhan was looking for a perfect opportunity, an opportunity that would allow him to complete a group kill. Before this opportunity appeared, he could only hide. Boom. The forest was destroyed in pieces, and Luhan was only able to see a glimpse, changing direction and position again and again, but after more than 10 minutes, he was in a situation where he could not hide. Futon, wind style, oppression. Luhan suddenly launched an extremely powerful counterattack. The terrifying wind erupted in the forest, and the trees near Luhan in all directions were destroyed at that moment. The huge air pressure formed an impact that seemed to tear the space apart. Even the trees dozens of meters away from Luhan were uprooted. Crushed by the wind. The attacks that fell from the sky were all blown away and scattered at this moment, and even the 8 flying ninjas in the air of 200 meters were greatly impacted. After raising to 500 meters, it was able to completely get rid of the influence of Futon, wind-style pressure damage. The only master of Luhan's is an A-level ninjutsu. Luhan chose to oppress him in order to deal with this situation. He managed to solve the crisis by relying on powerful ninjutsu, but his chakra also bottomed out. Keep running. Drink medicine at the same time. Luhan has pretended to want to escape from here, to escape to Uzushiogakure village. He is misleading the judgment of the 8 Fino. A-level ninjutsu. Futon, wind style, crushing. At an altitude of 500 meters, Biwa Zhaohu looked horrified. You must know that ordinary Jonins can only master B-level ninjutsu at most, and only elite Jonins can master A-level ninjutsu. Technique. Biwa Jiaohu, whose own strength is only a special Jonin, can only know 2 types of B-level ninjutsu with less power. Ninjas who can master A-level ninjutsu are basically regarded as strong in the ninja world. In the 5 major ninja villages, they are both absolute fighting main force. Biwa Jiaohu can only look up. A-level ninjutsu is still a threat to flying ninja. If it is the Kurigakure flying ninja of the first ninja war, basically not afraid of A-level ninjutsu, unless it is Raiden Thunder style. The current Kurigakure flying ninja is a little worse than the one at that time, mainly in the actual combat experience. The ninja world has been peaceful for more than 10 years. The new generation of Kurigakure flying ninja has not performed many combat missions and has too little combat experience. Below, Luhan is rapidly moving eastward. At a height of 500 meters, the 8 flying ninjas stopped. They were not worried that Luhan would run away. It would be fine to let Luhan run 10 kilometers first, and they would soon be able to catch up. He's very strong, Feng Hai-kun said, his voice very solemn. However, there should be not many chakras. Biwa Jiaohu was silent, looking at the figure fleeing below, as if thinking about something. Teacher, Feng Hai-kun looked at Biwa Jiaohu, do you still kill him? It can be speculated that if we insist on killing him, it is estimated that a lot of time will be wasted, and the rest of the Konoha Anbu team has not been found. Should we? No, kill him first. Biwa Jiaohu seemed to understand, and said categorically, he is the team leader. He should be the one who led the Konoha Anbu team to break through before. Since he has been discovered, let him die here first, then go after the others. Chase. The 8-headed water-crossing eagle suddenly broke through the air, dived at high speed to chase after Luhan, and reached 200 meters above Luhan in only a few seconds. Luhan, who had been driving the 1-kilometer observation range, stopped in an instant, bent his knees, and shot into the sky like a cannonball. He has a chance. In one breath, he reached an altitude of 130 meters and received the technique of shadow flashing. In an instant, it reached an altitude of 200 meters. Luhan stretched out his arms without a pause, and pointed his fingers in all directions. Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, 10-finger piercing bullet. Chapter 0142-Blood Rain. The battle is over. 10-finger piercing. One of Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, stunts. It can be said that Luhan's current attack ability with the longest range. Even hitting a few hundred meters is not a problem, but if you hit it too far, the power will be weakened. Luhan has been waiting for such an opportunity to attack every target as long as he opens his arms. This kind of opportunity can only be once. Once the opponent realizes that Luhan has Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, he will definitely not fight again. Luhan could only watch them fly away. Never let this happen. Luhan has been driving a small map with a range of 1 kilometer, and the chakra consumption is not much. He needs to pay attention to every position of the flying ninja at all times, until the best situation that Luhan can attack all at once. Luhan did not expect that such an opportunity would appear in such a short period of time. He didn't hesitate. At an altitude of 200 meters, Luhan, who appeared through the shadow flash technique, burst out 10 bone finger bullets from 10 fingers. Be careful, Biwa Jiaohu had already let out a shrill scream. The biggest weakness of flying ninjas is that they are not strong enough, because they don't have so much energy for ninja practice. And more importantly, what Luhan wants to attack is not flying ninja at all. It's a huge water eagle. Bang, 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 bang. Blood flowers erupted one after another in the sky. 7 in a row. The head of the 7-headed Shuadu eagle was blasted by the bone finger bullet. The Shuadu eagle, the farthest away from Luhan, was only 60 meters away. And Luhan's Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, ability at this time is far more than when he fought with Uchiha Gumu. Faster. They can't hide at all. The flying ninjas are stunned. With a frightened expression, he half opened his mouth, looking at the black-robed masked figure in the air, speechless. It all sounds complicated, but it actually happened in a very short period of time. The seven-headed water eagle and the ninja fell to the forest below at the same time. Lu Han was extremely surprised. Because there was a shui-dying eagle that escaped the vital attack of the bone finger bullet, at the moment when it was about to be hit in the head, the shui-dying eagle suddenly turned upwards according to the master's instructions. The bone finger bullet only penetrated its abdomen. Although it was seriously injured, the shuadu eagle is huge and has strong vitality, and will not lose its ability to fly immediately. Not that it reacted in time. But its owner predicted Lu Han's attack in advance. In this way, Shuaduying escaped Lu Han's fatal blow by exerting his ultimate limit. Of the 8 water-crossing eagles, only 7 were killed in an instant, and the remaining one is likely to run away. Damn it! Lu Han shouted in the air, glanced at the ninja on the water-crossing eagle, and quickly hand-seal. Feng Hai-kun has turned pale. It was he who steered his shuadaying eagle to avoid Lu Han's vital attack. This genius Pheno of Kurigakure had never been so frightened before, and slapped the shuadaying eagle on the neck. The wounded shuadaying vigorously flapped its wings, trying to fly higher into the air. Raiden Thunder style, false darkness. Boom! Whoa! The terrifying thunderbolt shot out. It flashed a distance of dozens of meters and hit the Shuaduying who was about to escape. In the roar, the electric light shot everywhere. The Shuadu eagle was shattered by the lightning gun before it even had time to let out a whimper. The attack speed of false darkness is faster than 10 finger-piercing bullets. None of the 8 water eagles escaped. Lu Han had already started to fall rapidly towards the forest below. The same is true for the 8 flying ninjas. Give me death. Lu Han broke out again. Waving his arms frantically, he threw kunai around wildly. He seems to have an endless amount of kunai on him, and the whole person has become a kunai launcher, with countless black lights attacking in all directions. All in the air. It is difficult for Lu Han to change the direction of his fall, and it is even more impossible to lose the flying ninja of the Shuaduying. They are living targets. With the blessing of the strange force, Lu Han threw the kunwu enough to shoot through the rock. Pheno can't hide. Time seems to be slowing down, and blood flowers are constantly bursting in the sky, and the blood flowers are connected together, turning into blood rain. Every flying ninja tried to avoid Lu Han Kuwu's attack, but they couldn't do it. There was no focus in the air. They couldn't dodge left and right, they could only go down, and Lu Han's attack had already been made below anticipate. With a pair of fearful eyes, pain soon appeared on their faces. Kunai pierces their bodies again and again. The kunai on Lu Han seems to be endless. It is impossible for a ninja to carry so many kunai. Lu Han can, because he has a space backpack. He threw thousands of crude weapons in the subverter space, but there are also hundreds of fine-level weapons in the space backpack. Most of them are kunai. With the blood rain, Lu Han crashed to the ground. Boom, 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 crack boom. The roar continued for more than 10 seconds, and it was shaking in the end. Lu Han fell to the ground, and Fei Ren and Shui Dying naturally fell too. Many trees around were smashed, smoke and dust filled the air, and blood was thick. All corpses. Whether it is flying ninja or Shuadaying. All dead. Lu Han's face was white and scary because of Chakra's bottom again. While breathing heavily, he slowly turned around and glanced around. There were dozens of fallen objects scattered around each Fei Nin's body, and there were many, many golden ingots. The corner of Lu Han's mouth curled into a smile. The battle is over. ... A few hours later, dusk. In the northwest of the country of Vortex, the ninja village built by the sea, Uzushiogakure village. Kato finally arrived. After being identified, Kato was taken to the inner core of Uzushiogakure village. In the magnificent building complex, in a hall, Kato met the leader of the Konoha Anbu stronghold in Uzushiogakure village, Senju Nazara. Senju Nozomi is about 30 years old, tall but ordinary in appearance. His position in Anbu is the squad leader, and he is one of the characters second only to the leader. My lord, at noon yesterday, we found at least one group of Kurigakure ninjas on the southeastern border of the Land of Fire. The cold light led us to successfully break through the siege. Today at noon, we encountered 9 Kurigakure flying ninjas to kill. Kato split the list. He got down on his knees and explained the situation very quickly. Kurigakure unit, flying ninja. Senju Nozomi's face changed and changed. I heard that Anbu ninjas are coming. A clear female voice suddenly sounded outside the main hall, and Kato looked back. Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru entered the door side by side. Chapter 0143 _ tears are looming. Where's your captain? Why didn't that bastard come? Dare to see me? Tsunade asked again, humming. Kato was wearing a black robe and a mask, but Tsunade could see that it was a ninja following Luhan. The mask would only cover his face, and his height and body shape would not change. Kato didn't have time to speak yet. Tsunade. Senju Nozomi walked quickly to Tsunade's side. The information just sent. Senju Nozomi quickly explained the situation. He was Tsunade's elder, so naturally he wouldn't be called an adult. Hinin, Tsunade exclaimed. Her reaction was bigger than Senju Nozomi. Jiraiya and Orochimaru also looked shocked and looked at each other. The stronger the strength and the more knowledge, the clearer what Kurigakure represents. For the Tsunade and the 3 of them, the threat of flying ninja itself is not big. The key point is that Kurigakure village actually sent flying ninja, which almost shows that they have war intentions. It's a big deal. Call. A whirlwind suddenly rolled on the side, and a majestic middle-aged man wearing a gorgeous toga robe appeared, and everyone including Tsunade greeted respectfully at the same time. Lord Jinghai. Uzumaki shocked the sea, the current head of the Uzumaki clan, the leader of the Uzushiogakure village. The first powerhouse in the country of Vortex. Although Uzumaki Jinghai is only the first powerhouse in the small country of the country of Vortex, if placed in Konoha, his strength may not even be ranked in the top 5, but he represents a ninja village, or even a country. Uzushiogakure village befriends Konoha village. Uzumaki went to Konoha in shock, but on an equal footing with Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. So we have to call adults, even when Captain Anbu is here. What happened? Uzumaki glanced at the sea and asked. He could see that several people's faces were wrong. This time, Kato said. He quickly repeated the situation of the past 2 days. Uzumaki's face became ugly. No one knew Kurigakure village's intentions for the country of Vortex better than him. He didn't expect Kurigakure village so firm. Powerlessness welled up in Uzumaki's heart, because some things were irreversible. Like, Uzumaki Mido will die. Once Uzumaki Mido dies, the bond that maintains the alliance between Uzushiogakure village and Konoha village will be broken. Although this does not mean that the 2 sides will break down immediately, it will affect the support of Konoha village to Uzushiogakure village. If the village of Kurigakure starts a war against the land of Vortex soon, and Uzumaki Mido is no longer there, Konoha's support for the village of Uzushiogakure will inevitably decrease, and even if the war situation is too bad, Konoha will give up support for the village of Uzushiogakure according to the situation. Tsunade-sama. Kato saw that no one said a word, and said eagerly, "Can you go and have a look?" Our team of 6 scattered and fled. Before I completely let go of the pursuit, someone was discovered. I was the first. If you escape, you won't know about the others. Is it your captain who was discovered? Tsunade asked repeatedly. It shouldn't be. Kato shook his head. Even if I can escape, the captain will have no problem. His anti-tracking ability far exceeds mine, that is. Has it been a few hours? Tsunade became calm. It wasn't Luhan. She naturally didn't care. She came to the land of Vortex with her own tasks, and if it was not necessary, she would never do anything that wasted time. It was 5 hours ago. Kato cracked. 5 hours. It was Jiraiya who spoke this time. There is no need to go. Those who should come back will come back naturally. Those who shouldn't come back are already dead. Finnan should have already evacuated. It is impossible to catch up with them. Quote. Kato was silent and said nothing. Because Jiraiya is telling the truth, let alone Jiraiya, even if Hokage-sama comes in person, it is almost impossible to track Fino. The Shuadu Ying, which can fly thousands of miles a day, is not guaranteed to catch up if you are strong, unless you are a ninja who is good at speed. I'll send someone over to check the situation, Uzumaki said in shock. He should have sent someone there. At this time. Call, 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 call. 5 ninjas suddenly appeared outside the main hall. 1 person was in front and 4 were behind. The ninja in front was wearing the Uzushiogakure village ninja uniform. After he appeared, he knelt down on one knee and said, "Report. Konoha Anbu ninjas are coming." After speaking, the Uzushiogakure ninjas stepped aside, and the 4 Anbu ninjas entered the door. "You guys are back. Did you meet them on the road?" Kato cracked his voice with joy, and hurriedly greeted him. "I met him on the road, it's all right," Kato Fung said, glancing at the hall. Before he could say hello to Tsunade, Uzumaki Jinghai and others, he asked, "Where's Lord Hangwang? Is he back?" Lord Hangwang, Kato cracked, and his eyes suddenly stared at the boss. His face changed dramatically. A 6 ninja, now back to 5. Only 1 person didn't come back. Before Kato cracks, it can be confirmed that someone has been discovered. The one who didn't come back. Cold. What's wrong? Tsunade felt that something was wrong, and hurried to the door and asked. Lord Hangwang didn't come back. Kato Kai slowly turned his head to look at Tsunade. His white eyes were bloodshot and his voice was dry and hoarse. "It's him. The one who was discovered as him. It's Lord Hangwang." Tsunade's face was stunned, and rumblings echoed in his mind. Han was found. Han was discovered by Fei Nin. Didn't you fucking tell me he wouldn't be found? The sudden angry scolding shook the entire hall. Tsunade grabbed Kato's collar tightly, and his eyes seemed to eat people. Lord Hangwang, maybe, intentional, in order to let us escape and send back the information, so. Kato Kai was also very excited. His body was shaking. He could only think like this. He couldn't think of it anymore. The second reason why the cold will be discovered first. Tsunade stared at Kato Kai and slowly let go. "Let's go." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Tsunade, Jiraiya, Orochimaru Sanin suddenly disappeared in the main hall. Just a minute later, the 3 appeared in the forest outside the village of Uzushiogakure, heading straight to the southwest at the fastest speed. The 3 of them are almost without a shadow. Tsunade, maybe, it's fine, Jiraiya said against his will while running. He's probably still alive, even the indifferent Orochimaru said. Because they both saw Tsunade's eyes, tears loomed. Chapter 0144-Miracle. Tsunade was speechless, pursing her lips tightly. Her emotions were on the verge of losing control, and she was really afraid that she would burst into tears. Ninja, forbearance. This is a road of no return. Even in times of peace, what ninjas do is dangerous. Very few ninjas can get a good death. Dying in battle is like the fate of ninjas. Tsunade wasn't the first day she became a ninja. It wasn't the first day she went out on a mission. She was used to seeing life and death, and she had long since looked down on it. But she still can't take it. I can't accept the sudden death of someone I care about. The person who was still arguing with himself a few days ago, willing to give himself money, and laughing and noisy with himself, if he just died like this. Tsunade didn't know how to deal with it. She hopes there will be miracles. Rush, Jiraiya looked sideways at Tsunade frequently, but sighed and sighed in his heart. Tsunade, who looks like a carefree and feminine man, is very soft inside. Jiraiya expects a miracle to happen so that Tsunade will not be sad. However, miracles are called miracles because the probability of occurrence is very small. Jiraiya has no more words of consolation to say, and only time will dilute everything when this kind of thing happens. The sky is getting darker, the sunset is over the mountains, and the night is slowly falling. Night, no moon, full of stars. In the utterly destroyed forest, there was a lot of fire, and Luhan stood on the tree that had not fallen down. Boom! The flames erupted and rose, spreading more than 10 meters in a radius. The hit stone was blown to pieces. Why hasn't anyone come yet? The ninjas in Uzushiogakure village are too slow, aren't they? Are there no powerful ninjas? Luhan muttered in dissatisfaction, and took out the detonating ball again. This kind of metal ball ninja was naturally found from the flying ninja. The 9 flying ninjas contributed more than 200 detonating balls to Luhan in total. The power of this thing is far greater than that of the detonating charm, and the power of one is equivalent to a high-power attack type C-level ninjutsu. Luhan was very bored. He just waited for someone to come to him, but when it got dark, no one came. It can be fully speculated that Luhan attracted all the flying ninjas. Kato Kai and others would not be in danger. They should have arrived at Uzushiogakure village before nightfall, and Uzushiogakure village should have sent ninjas here. Luhan ended the battle with Fino before noon, and he continued to sabotage the whole afternoon, and he didn't even have time to count the gains of killing 9 level 25 diamond bosses this time. Before Luhan let the team run away, not entirely to hide their strength, but mainly because Kato and the others would get in the way. Luhan has already planned to expose his strength to a new height. He wants to let the people in Konoha know what a real enchanting genius is. Because he needs the feat of killing 9 Finos in a row. He needs to level up his status in Anbu. Naturally, he couldn't hide that Fei Ren was the one who killed him, but Luhan couldn't fully reveal his strength. That would be too scary and not a good thing. Luhan did damage in the forest, mainly to clean up traces. Clean up the traces that he used Shikatsumiku, Dead Bone Pulse, clean up the traces that he used Futon, Wind Style Crushing. Raiden, Thunder Style, False Darkness. Luhan suddenly jumped up, turned around and shot out the lightning gun, with a bang. A big tree was smashed to pieces. The collapsed section of the tree has left traces of lightning burns. I don't know if Tsunade and the others have left the Uzushiogakure village. According to their speed, they should have arrived at the Uzushiogakure village more than a day ago. Luhan muttered again, opened the small map and glanced at it, closed it again, and ran north again. 100 meters, throw the detonating ball again. The fire burst and rose, and another tree was lit. Luhan opened the 10-kilometer maximum range insight map. He opened it every 2 minutes. Because Chakra couldn't recover in time, he had to drink a small blue bottle from time to time. After half an hour, Luhan, biting a straw stick, was quite bored lying in the control, opened the small map again and glanced at it, and then suddenly jumped up. Coming. 3 blue dots appeared 3 kilometers to the east. There will be 4 colored dots displayed on the minimap, white for subversives, Yuhi for enemies, blue for subversive teammates, and orange, which may represent harmless strangers, are friends with Luhan. People who know each other, but are not teammates of the subversive. 3 blue dots came, and they were directly judged to be subversive teammates, which means that they came to find Luhan. It's finally here, Luhan muttered, rushing to his feet, passing through the messy trees, jumping over the fallen trees, and soon came to a charred open space, facing all the Fino and the water. Falcon's body. Kaden, fire style, dragon flame jutsu. Luhan spit out flames and set the corpse on fire. Under the night, the forest that was destroyed for several kilometers in a radius was full of fire. Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru rushed into the range of the battlefield. Under the leadership of Tsunade, the speed suddenly slowed down a lot. Tsunade stared at the bloodshot eyes and glanced around, and his emotions gradually became excited. It's the traces of Hinoki's attack. Jiraiya said solemnly, some of the fire seems to have started not long ago, and the battle should be over soon. This piece of forest has been destroyed. Orochimaru, who jumped on the tree, watched and said, Finan should have been chasing and killing a certain target, so that such a large-scale battlefield trace is produced. Sanin continued to approach the depths of the battlefield. Boom! A flame suddenly erupted in front of him. Although the distance was very long, the fire that suddenly jumped up to dozens of meters in the night was extremely dazzling. There is a situation. The 3 experienced Tsunade approached at the same time. In less than a minute, they appeared near the flames, all of them seemed to have seen something incomprehensible, and stopped subconsciously. It was a huge fire, blazing brightly, and thick smoke billowing into the sky. The figure full of blood and scars stood by the fire with the bloody knife, and turned around suddenly when he heard the movement. Eye to eye. Luhan's eyes focused directly on Tsunade, who also looked at Luhan. The world seems to stand still, only the flame is still jumping. Chapter 0145 I killed it. It turned out to be them. Luhan felt surprised, but on the surface, he did not show any surprise. It's time to show off your acting skills. Under the dazzling firelight, Luhan clenched the blood-dripping knife, his arm trembled a little, one leg trembled even more violently, and he seemed to be unable to stand. His eyes were full of tension, anger, and murderous intent, bloodshot. Luhan's murderous aura was very heavy. It's like a person who has just experienced a fierce battle of life and death, and his mental state has not been completely separated from the state of the previous battle, and he feels a little nervous. Tsunade, Jiraiya, Orochimaru stopped not far away, and they seemed to have froze. Han is still alive. He's standing there. There were wounds under the tattered clothes, and the rolled flesh mixed with the soil. Some wounds were burned out, which looked extremely terrifying. It was as if he had just climbed out of the mountain of corpses and the sea of blood, and he could no longer stand, but he still did not fall. Tsunade-sensei. Luhan seemed to have just regained his senses, and called out in a hoarse voice. Xiao Han. Tsunade finally called out, rushed to Luhan's side, and hugged Luhan, who was covered in blood, in his arms, not caring about Luhan's body being dirty. Luhan's legs softened at this moment, he fell directly on Tsunade. Orochimaru jumped to a nearby boulder and looked around warily. Jiraiya also became alert, looked around, and quickly approached Luhan. Tsunade quickly checked Luhan's injury, and his face changed. Seriously hurt, mainly burns and blasts. This can cause internal injuries, and in severe cases, it will directly lead to necrosis of organs, resulting in death. She once again saw the power of Luhan's vitality, that is, immortality. Tsunade's hand lit up, and his palm was printed on Luhan. Ninja Palm Sage Art. Extremely advanced medical ninjutsu. There are very few medical ninjas in Konoha's medical team who can master, as long as there are no deep injuries, or poisoning, fractures and other problems, simple flesh and blood injuries, internal injuries and trauma. Palm Sage Art can be healed within minutes. There is no doubt about Tsunade's strength. She output chakra regardless of the loss to treat Luhan. 3 minutes later. All the injuries on Luhan's body were healed, and the internal injuries were also healed. Tsunade took off Luhan's mask and saw Yuhi run on Luhan's face, and he was completely relieved. Thank you, Mr. Tsunade. Luhan smiled. Bastard. Tsunade, who still had Yuhi's eyes, grabbed Luhan's collar abruptly, and said excitedly, I told you not to follow. What the hell are you trying to do? What if you die if something like this happens? Isn't it dead? Luhan smiled. This is not the time to fight. Jiraiya said aside, patting Tsunade on the shoulder. Tsunade also knew that this was not the time, so he forcibly suppressed his anger, let go of Luhan's collar, and slowly stood up and looked around. Luhan also stood up and took 2 steps to the side, away from Tsunade. There is murder in Tsunade. You're so lucky, even Fenin can't kill you. Jiraiya looked at Luhan and said, Luhan was fine, and he felt much more relaxed. It is not impossible to survive under the attack of Fino, because the way of Fino's attack is very special, which Jiraiya understands. Although Luhan is still alive is a little strange, but it is not completely incomprehensible. Looking at Luhan's miserable appearance just now, he was really desperate. I didn't find it. Orochimaru, who was standing on a stone not far away, said suddenly. Jiraiya glanced at Orochimaru, then immediately looked at Luhan and asked, Where's Fino? Did they all leave? It's getting dark. Fino doesn't fight at night, and the vision is not good at night. Tsunade replied, looking up at the sky, if they just evacuated, which way did they fly? Tsunade finally looked at Luhan and asked. I didn't fly. It's all here. Luhan said something was wrong. Where? Tsunade frowned. Jiraiya and Orochimaru also looked at Luhan. Just. Luhan's tone was even more strange. He raised his finger and pointed to the huge burning fire beside him, with a surprised expression of, can't you all see it? Three of them looked at the fire with a stunned expression, and Orochimaru quickly jumped over. All dead, Jiraiya exclaimed. Yeah, Luhan blinked and glanced at a few people, wondering, what's the problem? Before you came, I just dragged the corpses together and set it on fire. 9 Kurigakure are dead. Tsunade turned his head to look at Luhan again, and asked anxiously, who else was here just now? Is it our Konoha ninja? Or from Uzushiogakure village? No, Luhan already showed a tone that he didn't understand why Tsunade asked. No, you bastard, don't lie to me, Tsunade exclaimed, you said no. Who killed Fino? I killed it. Luhan stared at Tsunade with wide eyes, and immediately raised his hand and shook it in front of Tsunade, wondering, is it stupid? Isn't it obvious? I killed them. Who else but me? You are so strange. Listening to Luhan's tone, it doesn't seem to be difficult to kill Fei Ren, he did it on purpose. This is the state reaction that a genius ninja should have after killing all the flying ninjas. You think it's your business that it's hard to kill, but I think it's easy to kill. Tsunade was stunned, Jiraiya and Orochimaru were not, they looked at Luhan suspiciously. Elite Chunin kills Fei Nin. 9. How can it be? At the same time, 20 kilometers west of the battlefield, in the clouds. Kurigakure ninja wearing a cape is driving the water-crossing eagle and approaching the battlefield rapidly. Flying ninja from the Ghost Army. Only him this time. He's here to check on the situation. Just over 7 hours ago, the Ghost Troop on the southeastern border of the Fire Nation confirmed that the flying ninja team sent the day before had been wiped out, because there was some inexplicable connection between the Shuaduying and each other. Induction only exists between beasts. When Luhan killed the first Shuaduying in the country of Vortex, the Shuaduying in the country of Fire sensed the death of the same kind for the first time. Chapter 0146 Oh my god. Kurigakure village, the loss of a water eagle is no less than the death of an elite Jonin. Teodi Waylan was extremely frightened, and then through the induction of the water-crossing eagles around him, it was confirmed that all the 9 water-crossing eagles in the vortex were dead. All dead. This kind of responsibility, Teodi Waylan can't take it. He has to send another flying ninja to the country of Vortex. He must know what happened. Who caused the downfall of the flying ninja team? Who has this ability? If 8 died, Teodi Waylan would understand better. No matter how strong the enemy was, there would always be someone who would run away, right? Not a single one escaped. Unimaginable. Huge fire. Tsunade stared blankly at Luhan. She couldn't believe that Luhan could kill Fei Nin, even one. But her intuition told her that Luhan was telling the truth. If it is a lie, it is too easy to be exposed, and this kind of thing is easy to verify. You killed Fino. Jiraiya couldn't help asking, looking at Luhan suspiciously. Yes. Luhan looked at Jiraiya and nodded, blinking his eyes twice. What's wrong with this? Before this mission, I made another breakthrough in my practice, and I am stronger than them. Of course there's a problem. Orochimaru said coldly, even me. I can't kill all 9 flying ninjas. It's possible to kill a few. Lord Orochimaru. Luhan looked at Orochimaru again, his tone incredulous. They are just Chunin, the strongest is the elite Chunin. With your strength, is it difficult to kill? Luhan knew that they were all special Jonin, but the elite Chunin's strength is not similar to that of special Jonin, and it is not wrong to say that he is an elite Chunin. They are in the sky. Orochimaru's voice was heavy, and he felt that Luhan was pretending to be stupid. Yes. Luhan nodded again and paused before saying, it's in the sky, but if they want to kill me, they have to get close to me, and I have a chance to kill them, right? You all strange. don't believe me. Finnen's melee range is 200 meters above the ground. Tsunade finally spoke, and she was a little suspicious of Luhan. The situation became interesting. Luhan had been hiding his strength and did not dare to reveal everything. But now, what Tsunade and the other three suspect is not that Luhan is hiding his powerful strength, but that Luhan does not have the strength to kill Fei Nin at all. Yes, it's almost 200 meters. Originally they attacked me with detonating ninja tools at a low altitude of 300 meters, but I avoided them. After that, they landed to 200 meters and started attacking with kunai and ninjutsu. I have a chance to fight back. Luhan seemed to be stubborn. How do you fight back? Jiraiya asked again. Use ninjutsu. Ninjutsu. What kind of ninjutsu can hit 200 meters? Ninjutsu can't hit 200 meters, but I can jump up first, so that's all right. Luhan spread his hands. His face was taken for granted. Tsunade frowned, and she felt even more that Han was lying to her. They are just talking nonsense. Why don't you tie him up first? I'll interrogate him, Orochimaru began, glancing at Tsunade. If Han wasn't Tsunade's disciple, he would definitely have done it. Little devil, are you trying to get the credit for killing Fino? Did some free ninja pass by to help you? Are you good at Raiden Thunder style? Or is it a secret technique that allows you to fly? Tsunade stared at Luhan and asked. Oh my god. Luhan covered his forehead. Try him first. Jiraiya said again, flipped his wrist and took out a kunai, shook it at Luhan, and said, Han. If you are optimistic about this kunai, I will throw it to 200 meters. In the air, no matter what method you use, as long as you can hit it, we will temporarily believe in you. Quote. It's too simple, isn't it? Luhan raised his eyebrows slightly. Easy. Jiraiya raised her eyebrows like Luhan did, and immediately swept her arms to the sky, and Kuu immediately shot into the sky. Let's go. Almost the moment Jiraiya made his move, Luhan suddenly turned around, and his hand was a kunai. Kai. The two branches of suffering go to heaven one after another. Jiraiya's kunai is extremely fast. After Luhan took the shot faster, 200 meters in the air, I heard a pop. Jiraiya's Kuu was overtaken by Luhan's Kuu, which directly interrupted the explosion of Mars. Terrifying power. Isn't it simple? Luhan asked again. Strength. Jiraiya reacted immediately, looking at Tsunade. Weird. Naturally taught by Tsunade. In fact, Luhan had already mastered strange powers before. Only Tsunade knew about this, and during the months she taught Luhan, she had also instructed Luhan on physical arts and strange powers. Tsunade was silent for a while, then turned to look at Jiraiya and said, Your test is really too easy. Jiraiya touched her nose awkwardly. I'll just say it. Luhan followed, because Kuu moves in a directional way, there is no flexibility, and it can't counterattack. Killing Fei Jin is 10 times more difficult than this. Han, now I'll test you. Tsunade looked at Luhan again and said seriously, pointing to the sky, I will jump to a height of 200 meters, you will attack me. No, Lu Hanlian waved his hand, it might hurt you. Let me tie him up. Orochimaru suggested again, he couldn't bear it anymore, could he be a little bit more nonsense? Hurt Tsunade. Tsunade squinted at Luhan. She couldn't understand why Luhan would lie about this kind of thing. Luhan suddenly turned around and looked up at the sky far in the west. He was used to turning on the small map, and he glanced at it subconsciously every once in a while. Just a moment ago, he was looking at the small map. Arrived at a big Yuhi spot. The big Yuhi point is the enemy leader, and the name will be displayed, and if there is only one enemy, it will also be displayed as the big Yuhi point. Kurigakure Ghost Force Flying Ninja, Level 25 Diamond Boss, Hondo missed. What's wrong? Tsunade asked, frowning. Can't you hear? Luhan asked back, still looking at the horizon. Can't hear anything, Tsunade asked hastily. Special wind. Luhan frowned and looked into the distance. According to previous experience, it's Fei Nin. There is only one. It is estimated that he came to check the situation here. Luhan said and looked back at Tsunade. Let me kill him. So I can prove it. I can kill Fino. Chapter-141 delivered to your door. Luhan didn't expect that there would be such a lucky thing. 9 flying ninjas have been killed. Now there is another flying ninja coming to your door. These are all diamond bosses. Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru have all followed Luhan's gaze to the western horizon, but they can't see anything. The flying ninja is still far away, and it is hidden in the clouds, so it is impossible to see. Can you hear the sound? Jiraiya asked Luhan again. Yeah, Luhan nodded. This is a talent. Before, I fought with 9 Finos from noon to dark, because I didn't have enough chakra, and every time I killed a Fino, it took a certain amount of time to recover the chakra. So always fight with them for a while, then hide for a while, and the sound of them flying after me is what I can hear now. You all know that I have scout talent. I'm a genius. Luhan finally said, showing no modesty at all. Chirp. The sound of breaking the air has appeared. Because Hanoi is approaching rapidly, and the sound of friction with the air is extremely loud, so just get close enough. It really does make a sound. Jiraiya's face changed. He finally heard the voice, and couldn't help but glance at Luhan. The voice that appeared at this time directly corroborated Luhan's previous words. I'll kill you. Luhan immediately turned his head to glance at the 3 of them and said, leave it to me. You doubt me so much, I must prove it. 3 immediately looked at each other. Tsunade looked hesitant, but finally nodded and said, okay. You must be careful. Okay, you hide first, don't let Fei Ren see, or he won't dare to come down. Luhan said. The sound of breaking the air is getting louder and closer. The 3 Tsunade left the huge fire, away from the fire, and entered the dark ruined forest. They hid under a collapsed tree. When it fell, the tree hit another tree, forming a slanted occlusion. Hiding under the occlusion, it is impossible for the flying ninja in the sky to see. The 3 looked at Luhan next to the huge fire. Tsunade was already holding kunai in his hand. If Luhan was in danger, she would immediately take action. Will he succeed? 200 meters away. Jiraiya was still skeptical. Isn't it Tsunade? Get ready to save people. Tsunade said with a cold face. She was angry, the kind of anger that hates iron. Dare to say anything nonsense. Do you really want to be greedy? She was waiting for Luhan to fail. After watching, how can Luhan quibble? Luhan opened and closed the minimap again, and determined the location of Finoin. Whoa! The knife light suddenly appeared, blood splashed, and Luhan suddenly turned back and gave himself a knife. A very long incision was made in his abdomen. Tsunade almost rushed out, but was held on the shoulders by Jiraiya. He wants to deceive people. It was Orochimaru who explained. Orochimaru had no means of killing people, so he could best understand Luhan's behavior. The huge fire was still burning, the flames dozens of meters high shook with the wind, and the smoke billowed straight into the sky. Luhan clutched the wound on his abdomen and slowly lay down on the open space not far from the fire. He threw his knife 2 meters away, stretched out his right hand, and seemed to want to grab the knife back. ... High altitude. Ben Duowu has already flown into the range of the battlefield. The battlefield forest that stretches for several kilometers below is full of fire, most of which are small fires. Only the large fire near the center of the battlefield is like a beacon telling the story. There are special circumstances in Honda fog. The water eagle swoops down from the clouds. Slow down. The sound of ultra-high-speed flying suddenly disappeared, and Honda glanced at the situation below with a foggy face. He could see that this was the battlefield that Finobu bombed. Didn't see the body of Shuadu Ying. No ninja corpses either. Has the enemy evacuated? Ben Duowu guessed that while he was looking down, the Shuadu Ying had descended to a position of 300 meters above the ground. 100 meters is the height of the search, and further down, 200 meters above the ground is the height of melee. As he got closer and closer to the huge fire, Honda Mist, who had never found any clues, suddenly changed his face. He saw a corpse lying on the ground not far from the huge fire. Is the enemy? Lu Han's mask had already been taken off, revealing a young boy's face with a hint of immaturity, and Ben Duowu could see at a glance that it was not his own. Honda's face changed again, because he saw the corpse on the ground move. Not a corpse. It's a seriously wounded ninja. Not dead yet. Clue. For Honda Fog, this is a clue, a key clue. Lu Han, who was lying on the ground, turned over with difficulty, stood up staggeringly, his body swayed, and fell to the ground 2 steps earlier, but he got his own knife. Kai, 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 kai. The sound of breaking the air struck, and the crisis enveloped Lu Han. Lu Han seemed to have exhausted all his strength, and suddenly jumped 6 or 7 meters forward, then fell to the ground and rolled out. Doo-doo, several times, the 5 kuwu nails landed on the ground where Lu Han was before. 300 meters is too far. Even if it is thrown down from the air, it will take a certain amount of time, enough for the ninja to react. Lu Han covered the wound on his abdomen with one hand, and held the knife with the other to support the ground. He looked up at the sky and cursed angrily, "Bastard! What kind of skill is in the sky? Come down if you have the skill." Lu Han seemed to be dying. The angry voice was full of powerlessness. 300 meters in the air. Honda Fog had already taken out the detonating ball, but he hesitated. Just blow up like this. Isn't that clue broken? He had to figure out how the flying ninja team was wiped out. He just lost kuwu, and he didn't hit the key points. He just wanted to make Lu Han's injury worse and completely lose his ability to resist. Thinking about it, Honda Mist put away the detonating ball again, and took out kunai again. The hovering Shuadu eagle swooped down suddenly. It's finally down. Lu Han breathed a sigh of relief, and when Shuading rushed to 200 meters above the ground, he suddenly turned over, stepped on the ground and bent his knees. The ground collapsed with a bang, and Lu Han shot into the sky like a cannonball. Get up. Kai, 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 kai. At the same time as the rapid rise, Lu Han threw out more than 10 kunai in a row, standing at an altitude of more than 100 meters, hand seal. Raiden Thunder Style, False Darkness. Chapter 0148 I am a monster. Lu Han's speed is undoubtedly fast. The speed of flying ninja's reaction is not slow. Honda Mist reacted as soon as the ground cracked, and his reaction was not higher, but he threw his hand and threw kunwu in an attempt to attack Lu Han. Maybe he thinks that no one can jump 200 meters high. He has no sense of crisis. Was a rapid crack sound, and all the kuwu that Ben Duowu was killing towards was interrupted by the kuwu sheng thrown by Lu Han. The kunai thrown by Lu Han was not affected at all. After breaking the target, it continued to rise, and more than a dozen black lights all hit Ben Duo's side. This is why Honda Foggy Face is strange. The power is very large, but it is too inaccurate, right? Raiden Thunder Style, False Darkness. Lu Han, who was so high, finished the hand seal and spit out the shining lightning gun. When the Raiden Thunder Style chakra fluctuations appeared, Honda Mist's face changed dramatically. What Finan feared most was the Raiden Thunder Style. He wanted to hide. Dodge as much as possible. Although Lu Han is 60 or 70 meters away from him, it is difficult for other ninjutsu to attack, but Raiden Thunder Style is possible. However, when Honda Fog wanted to avoid the moment, he was desperate. In all directions, all have been shrouded in black light from the lacing. Those dozen or so kunai are not the ultimate move at all, but restrict escape. Only up. Boom tilde ka. How fast is thunder and lightning? How fast can Shuading be? The Shuaduying just turned over and hit the sky less than 3 meters. The huge lightning gun bombarded it. The terrifying power erupted in an instant, and the Shuaduying was exploded into a sparkling fireball in an instant. The ascent suddenly stopped, and he threw Honda Fog towards the forest below. Ben Duowu wasn't dead yet, and it was not him that Lu Han attacked. Although the thunderbolt had already hit him, it only seriously injured him. Dai me. Kai, kai, kai. Lu Han, who had already started to fall downwards, forcibly twisted his body in the air. His arms were rounded and he threw out a few kunai again. Black light shoots. In the blink of an eye, the falling Shuaduying and Honda Fog were all pierced. Rapid fall. 30 meters from the ground, Luhan quickly hand seal. Futon, wind style, Datapa, great breakthrough. Quote. Call. The gust of wind blew toward the ground, and the updraft generated was supported on Luhan's body. Luhan's falling speed suddenly slowed down. Land safely. Boom. Shuaduying's huge body and Honda Fog fell to the side, and the ground shook with smoke and dust. The battle is over, easy to solve. It's not too easy to kill. Raiden Thunder style False Darkness is AB level ninjutsu, but it takes 15 ingots to exchange, not only because False Darkness has a very high room for improvement and expansion, but also because it is a Raiden Thunder style that can perform long-range attacks. Fast and powerful. In nature, Raiden Thunder style and Futon Wind style have a common feature, that is, they are suitable for use in combination with Teishu, which means they are suitable for close combat. This is true of Futon Wind style Rasengan and Raiden Thunder style Reikiri in the original book. Raiden Thunder style ninjutsu that can perform long-range attacks is very rare in Raiden Thunder style ninjutsu. Even the Raiden Thunder style Kirin developed by Uchiha Sasuke in the original book is not a direct long-range attack, but with the help of natural minds to attack. Luhan has long known that Raiden Thunder style False Darkness can hit air targets. At least more than 100 meters is not a problem, but in the battle at noon during the day, he has been restraining the useless False Darkness until the final lore is not completed. He uses False Darkness when there is only one target left. Reason for this is because he knows that once he is exposed to Raiden Thunder style long-range attack ninjutsu, and he does not kill all the flying ninjas, then the remaining flying ninjas are likely to escape, or fly to the ground. The higher positions were attacked in other ways, but Luhan didn't want to let go of any of those 9 diamond bosses. Naturally, that cannot be allowed to happen. And just that, just one. Luhan has no scruples. The attack speed of False Darkness is too fast. In the original book, Kakuzu attacked Kakashi with False Darkness. Kakashi did not have time to dodge and used Reikiri to resist with both hands. In fact, just now Luhan didn't throw Kuwu to block and limit it, and there was a very high probability that he would directly shoot down the Shuaduying and throw Kuwu, just to be safer. Tsunade 3 who were hiding under the fallen tree were all stunned. Really done. Kill Fei Nin. Then simply. The 3 of them looked at each other and looked at Luhan again, only to see that Luhan had run to the body of Shui dying, stretched out his hand to check something, seemed to be looking for something, or to see if he was completely dead. In fact, Luhan was using the deprivation technique on Ben Duowu. 5 consecutive deprivations, 2 successes. This is a very high probability, because it is a diamond boss, with 10 times the explosion rate. If it is a gold boss, it is more likely that all 5 deprivations will fail. When Luhan stood up again, the 3 Tsunade had already arrived behind Luhan. B-level ninjutsu. You have mastered B-level ninjutsu. Jiraiya asked, looking up and down at Luhan, still a little unbelievable. I didn't say it just now, I had a breakthrough growth before the mission. Luhan turned around and said, it's this B-level ninjutsu, Raiden Thunder style False Darkness. It's hard to learn, I have 2 in Anbu. Months. I spent more than a month reading the information scroll, and then I had time to go to the ninjutsu cave to study, and it took nearly a month to learn it. It took nearly a month to learn. Talent. The 3 Tsunade looked at each other again, and a word flashed in their minds at the same time, enchanting. That's right. Luhan seemed to know what they were thinking. As the ace of Konoha, Anbu naturally has an independent place to store ninjutsu scrolls. Luhan has indeed been there. There are more than 1,000 kinds of ninjutsu scrolls stored there, with all kinds of attributes, but there is no forbidden technique, secret technique. Jutsu, as well as ninjutsu with A-level difficulty. In Anbu's ninjutsu cave, there is indeed a learning scroll for Raiden Thunder style False Darkness. However, Luhan did not learn any martial arts there. The highest was B level. Now Luhan is not very interested in B level ninjutsu. It is a waste of time to rely on talent to learn. Elite Chunin, B rank ninjutsu. Tsunade looked at Luhan and murmured, and then asked, what level have your taijutsu and strange power reached? Chapter-141-160 Special Jonin. Physical magic. Not sure. Luhan shook his head. He had planned to expose the two supernormal aspects of false darkness and strange power, so he had already thought about his lines, paused and said, however, with my current situation, the amount of chakra, even if all the chakra is used, it is difficult to exert the full power of the strange force. Quote. Tsunade's face froze. Elite Chunin, the full power of the magic power of taijutsu that can't be exerted. This time, Jiraiya didn't have Tsunade's surprise, but glanced at Tsunade and said, when you were an elite Chunin, you were at this level, right? But you were born with a huge amount of chakra, so you can use it all. He's not an elite Chunin, Orochimaru said suddenly, his voice still cold. Luhan glanced at Orochimaru. It's a special Jonin. Orochimaru looked at Luhan, with a strange light flashing in his eyes. He has mastered B-level ninjutsu, his strange power has reached a very high level, and his fighting ability has reached that of Jonin. It's just that there is something lacking in other areas, so. Special Jonin. Quote. Tsunade didn't speak for a long time, and looked at Luhan with a faint gaze. She was angry. Still a little worried. Women are so strange. What she is thinking about now is that her own disciple is so disobedient now, but she has grown extremely fast, and will become stronger in the future. How can she discipline her then? Can this work? In fact, for Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru, Luhan's growth is completely understandable. Luhan is a monster. Aren't the three of them? Change to other ninjas. You may feel incredible that Luhan mastered B-level ninjutsu when he was an elite Chunin, but the three Tsunade would not, because when they were elite Chunin, all of them mastered B-level ninjutsu. The most talented Orochimaru is a master of A-level ninjutsu. What is a genius? If you can do what ordinary people can't, you are a genius. If you can't master B-level ninjutsu during the Chunin period, and you can become a master when you reach Jonin, then you can't be considered a genius. It has been confirmed that Han killed the 9 Phenos, and he has the ability to attack targets in the sky. As for why the 9 flying ninjas were killed one by one and none of them retreated and escaped, Luhan didn't need to explain. He has been laying out battlefield traces from noon to night, making the illusion of being chased and killed all the time. Fenoin died one by one, but they didn't retreat. Why is this? That's their problem. It's not Luhan's problem. Tsunade. Orochimaru, whose eyes had become strange before, suddenly said. What? Tsunade tilted his head to Orochimaru. Let me teach him. Orochimaru continued, he suits me very well, but I just haven't accepted an apprentice yet. Orochimaru took a fancy to Luhan. Because now Luhan's act of self-mutilation and attracting the enemy. Few ninjas with normal brain circuits would do this. Too much for Orochimaru's appetite. No way. Tsunade suddenly jumped in front of Luhan, blocking Orochimaru's sight of Luhan, and said fiercely, I warn you. Orochimaru, your idea of not being cold. You will bring him bad. If you dare to mess around, I'll tell the teacher. Actually, I think it's not bad to have Orochimaru teach Han. Jiraiya said while holding her chin, Tsunade, you are good at medical ninjutsu and taijutsu, and there are indeed some things that are not suitable. Shut up, Tsunade yelled at Jiraiya. Jiraiya looked embarrassed and shut up. Hey, can you guys stop arguing first? Luhan's faint voice came from behind Tsunade. Tsunade turned around quickly and said eagerly, Han, let me tell you, you must not talk to Orochi. Tsunade teacher. Luhan had turned into a dead fisheye expression, interrupting Tsunade's words. What's wrong? Tsunade was taken aback. My stomach is still bleeding. It will kill people. Can you make some snacks? Luhan pointed to his stomach. He just stabbed himself with a knife. It was too deep and it hasn't healed yet. Oh, I forgot. Tsunade panicked, a little embarrassed, and hurriedly performed medical ninjutsu. Ha! Jiraiya laughed when she saw Tsunade's appearance. Shut up! Tsunade yelled back suddenly. Jiraiya shut up. Her face was numb. She looked up at the starry sky at a 45-degree angle, so sad. Night, Luhan and Tsunade returned to Uzushiogakure village together. Lord Hangguang, you're fine, it's great. It's the incompetence of the subordinates that put Lord Hangguang in danger. In the dimly lit room, Kato and other 5 Anbu ninjas knelt down on one knee. Their voices were both excited and ashamed. Their mission was to protect Luhan, but they didn't expect to be protected by Luhan, who took the initiative to reveal his position. Get up, everything will be fine. Luhan raised his hand. In the room, in addition to Luhan and Anbu Wuren, there are 3 Tsunade, Anbu squad leader Senju Nozomi, and Uzushiogakure village leader Uzumaki Jinghai. Go and rest. Tsunade raised his hand. Yes. Anbu 5 ninja agreed in unison, and at the same time as he got up, Kato couldn't help but asked, Master Tsunade. Annoying thing. They're all dead, Tsunade said. All dead, Kato Kai exclaimed. Anbu won and looked at Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru at the same time, and they were all shocked. They rushed over and killed 9 Kurigakure. How did you fight? Can you beat it? Kato knew that the Tsunade trio were extremely powerful, but he didn't expect to be so powerful. In the face of a flying ninja team, being able to kill a few of them showed that they were powerful. Kill them all. It's a bit surprising. When Flying Ninja encounters a formidable opponent that cannot be defeated, he will immediately leave the battlefield, and there is no way to chase him. Ha ha ha, worthy of being a disciple of Hiruzen. Uzumaki laughed in shock. Killing 9 of them at once, ha ha ha, I really want to know what kind of expression Kurigakure Mizukage will have when he knows this. As expected of the future of our Konoha village. Senju Nozomi also nodded in admiration. We didn't kill it, Tsunade said, glancing at Luhan. No, Uzumaki asked in shock. His eyes swept to Jiraiya and Orochimaru again. Jiraiya held his chin oddly. Orochimaru was as cold as ever, really not. Chapter 0150-developed. Is there a strong person passing by? Senju Nozomi asked guessingly, or? Don't guess, it's me. Luhan raised his hand and gestured with a helpless expression, I killed them. You killed 9 flying ninjas. It's 10. Then another one flew over to check the situation, and I killed him too. The room fell silent for a moment. Uzumaki Jinghai, Senju Norihara, and Anbu Wuren all stared at Luhan, who had been brought back when he came back, and then turned to Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru. He was in Anbu for 2 months and learned B-level Raiden, Thunder-style ninjutsu, and he can still be amazing. Tsunade nodded and said, it's him. We were also suspicious before. When he first arrived on the battlefield, he was burning corpses. Then we tested it out. He does have the ability to kill flying ninja. It must be made clear. Because this is a great credit. A Kurigakure ninja team. It's been a long time since Anbu has taken this kind of credit once. The last time he got this kind of credit was Anbu Captain Hatake Sakumo. It was a few years ago. Hatake Sakumo was not yet Anbu Captain. During a mission to steal classified information, he was discovered by the enemy and eventually killed one of the enemy's super elites, Jonin, and several others. The elite Jonin returned to Konoha with that classified information. It was also because of that mission that Hatake Sakumo had enough merit and had the opportunity to challenge the position of Captain Anbu. The room was silent for a long time. No one spoke for a long time. With Tsunade's gesture, Anbu won and exited the room. Tsunade looked at Senju Kahara again and said, Uncle Kahara, send a message to Konoha and clarify this matter. That's right. Senju Shuan finally came to his senses, and took out a pocket scroll directly from his arms. It was about the size of your little finger. When unfolded, it was half a meter long, but only half a palm wide. of. Senju Nozomi took out the pen again, quickly wrote the situation on the pocket scroll, then closed the scroll, and the hand seal was sealed. This kind of scroll is sealed by the hand seal. In addition to the person who wrote the scroll can open it. In Konoha only Captain Anbu and Hokage have the method of unlocking it. If it is forcibly opened by destroying, the scroll will burn itself. Psychic. Senju Nozomi hand seal again. Bang tilde the white smoke rises, and a green bird ninja the size of a pigeon appears, the chasing falcon. A high-level ninja beast that makes good use of futon wind style. Although it is small, it is the highest-level bird ninja beast used to transmit information in Konoha village. What are you doing? As soon as the wind-chasing falcon appeared, he looked at Senju Shion impatiently. At this time, you should know that I am sleeping. A pair of small blue eyes were filled with dissatisfaction. Emergency. Senju Nozomi smiled awkwardly, and being reprimanded by his own ninja beast is shameful enough. What mission? Falcon Chaser completely ignored the big people in the room, flapped his wings and tilted his head to look at Senju Norihara. Didn't you summon my son when it was just dark? Why are there so many emergencies? The information sent before dark was about the presence of the Kurigakure troops on the southeastern border of the Land of Fire. Stop talking nonsense, here it is. Senju Kahara shoved the pocket scroll into Falcon's mouth, the highest level of information. You are limited to sending the information to Lord Hokage before noon tomorrow. It is already late at night, and it will be less than 12 hours by noon tomorrow. The wind-chasing falcon suddenly rounded his small eyes, the most advanced information. It may not be possible to send it once in a few years. A little excited. Ah! The chasing falcon raised his head, ate the scroll directly into his stomach, and dropped his voice, leave it to me. The chasing falcon disappeared into the room, and Lu Han, who had been watching the situation, was stunned and disappeared. But Lu Han didn't see how the chasing falcon disappeared. Only a slight wind could be felt, and it was confirmed that it flew away, and the skylight on the room was open. It's all gone, the cove light is going to rest. Tsunade said again. Go back to sleep. Jiraiya yawned and walked out. Orochimaru and Senju Shion both walked out without saying a word. Only Uzumaki was shocked and looked back at Lu Han before going out. Cold light. Uzumaki is very curious, and he can kill the entire Kurigakure flying ninja team by himself. Who is Hangguang? What level is in Anbu? What is the real identity? Uzumaki Jinghai is the leader of Uzushiogakure village, the head of the Uzumaki clan, but not from Konoha village, so he doesn't know much about Konoha Anbu, and he knows the true identities of several Konoha Anbu ninjas. For example, the captain of Anbu is Hitaki Sakumo, who is stationed in Uzushiogakure village. The squad leader is Senju Norihara. Others, all he saw were masks, and he didn't know what the faces under those masks looked like. Tsunade left at the end, looking like he wanted to say something to Lu Han, but he didn't say anything in the end. He just told Lu Han to rest well, and then Hand Seal left in an instant. An hour later, the bedroom on the second floor. Lu Han had been lying on the squat for a long time, and he felt that the time was almost up. No one would suddenly appear in the room with a sneak attack. He just sat up, and with a wave of his hand, nearly 600 items filled the large squat. Because there are so many things are stacked on top of each other. Drop rewards for killing 10 level 25 diamond bosses. And the items stripped from their corpses. Quick count. There are more than 300 pieces of crude and sophisticated weapons together. There are more than 100 small yuhi bottles, small basket bottles, and C-rank ninjutsu scrolls. A total of nearly 450 pieces. 130 left. Penultimate class weapons, 7. Grade B ninjutsu scrolls, a total of 26. Mystery, 6. Ingots, 59. Diamond badges, 12. 9 books of famous beasts. An eye-catching book. The last 4 pieces. The most important thing for Lu Han, the spirit medicine, 4 bottles. Lu Han's hands trembled with excitement. Developed. The reward obtained this time is close to the sum of his previous killings. Kill 10 Kurigakure flying ninjas in a row, all of them are level 25 diamond bosses. Luhan wondered if this would happen in the future. Elf, is the diamond badge enough? What can I exchange for something so hard to get? Luhan asked inwardly. Chapter-141 Hokage, 3 commands. Killing the diamond boss is self-evident. Luhan does not know how many diamond badges are needed to unlock the diamond badge exchange, but he estimates that 10 should be enough, right? The exchange value of the subversive space is extremely low. The exchange item has been unlocked. The elf replied, I can't tell you the details, please enter the subversive space to check. Sure enough. Luhan sighed. What should be collected, what should be used? Kurigakure village ninjas are mainly good at Suiten, water-style, ninjutsu, so most of the ninjutsu scrolls Luhan got are Suiten, water-style, the highest grade is B, which will not make Luhan have too much excitement. There are not many skills in the skill. What Luhan wants most is a scroll of A-level ninjutsu, and any one is worth at least 10 ingots. However, it is impossible for a level 25 diamond boss to drop an A-level ninjutsu scroll. Normally, an elite jonin with a rating of 40 can drop an A-level ninjutsu scroll, or a level 30 gold boss is also possible. The title of diamond means that the explosion rate is higher, and it can also drop special items, that is, diamond badges, and nothing else. The 6 kinds of secret art scrolls are all ordinary C-level cultivation difficulty, auxiliary type, and Luhan's help at this time is very small. After using 4 bottles of spiritual potion, Luhan's total chakra has approached the 30-level white-silver boss, which is more than double that of the root killer Asada Kawasaki he killed before. There is no doubt that the 9 books on fighting beasts are used to improve the ability to control ninja beasts. In fact, it is not very useful to Luhan, and he has not signed a contract with any ninja beasts. An eye-catching book, very unique, it was a pleasant surprise to Luhan. After using it, Luhan's eyesight became better and he could see farther. Before Luhan had a Sharingan Kekkei Genkei, his eyesight was already extraordinary, but after using the eye-catching book, he could see at least 600 or 700 meters away. Naturally, it is incomparable with the Hyuga clan. Hyuga Jonin can see several kilometers away, and the Hyuga clan leader can see 10 kilometers away. Luhan can only see 600 or 700 meters, and he can't see through, but then again, this is already a huge improvement for Luhan. Elf, who broke the book of eye-catching? Luhan asked in his heart. Fenghai-kun, deprive the income. The elf replied. Noon. Falcon returned to Konoha and sent the information to Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. After another 10 hours, on the morning of the new day, Falcon returned to the village of Uzushiogakure again, and handed over Hokage's reply letter for the intelligence to Senju Kahara. There are 3 commands. Order 1. Since the strength of Anbu's temporary scout captain, Hengwang, has improved again, his rating is directly adjusted to Special Jonin, no assessment is required. Order 2. In view of the fact that Anbu's temporary scout captain, Hengwang, completed a major task, and led the team to detect the traces of the Kurigakure ninja troops on the southeastern border of the Land of Fire, and provided extremely important information to the superiors, Hokage discussed with Anbu captain and decided to place an A7th squad leader position was added internally, and Hengwang was appointed as the Anbu squad leader, whose official level was only lower than that of the Anbu leader. Order 3. Appoint Hengwang as the temporary captain of this S-level missing nin mission, and can fully coordinate the 5 temporary squads participating in this mission, including the independent squad previously dispatched to the Land of Water, a total of 26 people Anbu ninja. The wide hall, Senju Shiwan read Hokage's order to Luhan, then handed the pocket scroll to Luhan, smiled and said, "Congratulations, Captain Hengwang." The day before, Senju Shiyuan's level was higher than Luhan. He is Tsunade's elder, so he is also Luhan's elder. Today, the two are already on the same level. The same Anbu ninja, the same as the team leader. Captain Dogwon is very polite. Lu Han, who was wearing a mask, said with a smile. He directly became the team captain. He didn't need to exchange merits for opportunities. Lu Han was very excited, but he was calm on the surface. Dogwon is the Anbu code of Senju Nazara. On the table next to him, Falcon Chasing was lying there in a very bad mood. It was too tiring to fly around for the past 2 days. After Lu Han and Senju Xuan were polite, Falcon Chasing stood up and shouted, "I'm still here." Something. What? Lu Han and Senju Xuan looked at the same time. The wind-chasing falcon was looking at Lu Han. Lu Han walked to the table and asked again, "What?" The chasing falcon opened his mouth, and when he lowered his head, he spit out something, a ring. Because Lord Hokage's orders cannot be communicated to other teams in other missions in time, this ring is a certificate to prove your power. You bring this ring to facilitate the temporary coordination of other teams of ninjas. Hayabusa explained. On the southeastern border of the Fire Country, there are high mountains and dense forests, and in the dark forests. The ghost troop was completely assembled, and at a glance, it was dark, no one spoke, all of them bowed their heads, and the atmosphere was solemn. At the front of the team, Teodi Wayland knelt on the ground, trembling, and seemed to have collapsed and despaired. In front of Teodi Wayland, there are 7 ninjas. There are men and women, old and young. These 7 ninjas are extremely unique. They don't have uniform clothes, and the weapons they carry are also different. Every rating is super elite. The strongest combination in Kurigakure Anbu. He is a top powerhouse that even Captain Kurigakure Anbu cannot mobilize. Only accept orders from Kurigakure Mizukage. In the ninja world, it has a feared name. The 7 Ninja Swordsmen of the Mist. This is a title that can be inherited, and each generation of the 7 Ninja Blades of Mist is extremely powerful. Every time they act, they will bring a chilling storm of blood. It's a waste to give you control of Fei Nin. Useless thing. The tall and thin middle-aged man in the 7 ninjas scolded angrily. Poochie. Blood splashed, Teodi Wayland's head flew into the sky. Jonin, the powerful elite of the village of Kurigakure, was executed in public. The country of the vortex. It's better not to let me know who killed Fino. The tall, thin middle-aged man flicked the blood from the big sword and looked in the direction of the country of the vortex, with a chill in his voice, otherwise. Don't blame me. Chapter 0152 He is here to kill me. Kurigakure ninjas in the ghost force all shook when Teodi Wayland was beheaded, lowered their heads even lower, and dared not make any sound, even Teodi Wayland's younger brother Teodi Mengelin in this way. They are afraid. The 7 Ninja Swordsmen of the Mist. This is a bunch of inhuman guys. If you dare to resist in the slightest, they will dare to kill you. I do not care who you are. Although there are more than 200 ghost troops, but in front of the 7 Ninja Swordsmen, they are turkeys, and even if they want to resist, they are not opponents. You'll be the captain. The tall and thin middle-aged man looked at Teodi Mengelin again, raised his sword and pointed at him. Continue your mission in the land of fire. If something goes wrong again, don't wait for me to kill you. You apologize to me. Yes, my lord. Teodi Mengelin got down on one knee and accepted the order. Okay, it's almost time. The glamorous woman with a cold expression walked to the tall and thin middle-aged man's side. We have to return to the country of Vortex immediately. Lord Mizukage has given a death order, and we must take revenge for Fino. The man is Hitaki Sakumo. The mission must be done too. Don't waste time. After speaking, the glamorous woman glanced at the assembled ghost troops again, and her eyes were like looking at a group of useless waste. Yeah, the tall, thin middle-aged man made an indifferent nasal sound, raised his hand and hung the big knife behind his back. Let's go. The 7 ninja swords jumped out at the same time, as fast as lightning, bounced back and forth between the forest trees, and soon disappeared into the distance. Uzushiogakure Village. It is a sunny noon. Uzushiogakure Village, Konoha Anbu Stronghold Station. The spacious courtyard. Lu Han was lying on a chair facing the sun, with a black robe and a fat kabuto cap buttoned on his head, the reclining chair was shaking gently, and Lu Han was taking a nap. This is already the 5th day that Lu Han arrived at Uzushiogakure village. Call. Whirlwind blew up. Kato appeared beside the reclining chair, hesitantly called out, Lord Hangguang. Huh. Lu Han, who had already woken up, returned a nasal voice. When are we going to the land of water? It's been a long time, we can't keep dragging it here, can we? Kato said, really hard-hearted. It was not the first time he persuaded Lu Han in the past 2 days, don't delay. Mission. You're so annoying. Lu Han reluctantly replied, still lying on the chair with Kabuto's hat on his face, I'm going, I want to take a nap. Lord Hangguang. Kato Kai wanted to say something, but when he saw that Lu Han had raised his hand and made a gesture of shutting up, he stopped. Alas. With a sigh, Kato Kai and hand seal disappeared in place. No way, this, Lord Hangguang, has been appointed by Hokage as the captain of the mission to hunt down missing nin. He is no longer the temporary captain of the scout team. What Kato said is useless. Lu Han is self-willed, he completely cares. No. Not long after Kato split left. Call. Another whirlwind rolled up, and a figure appeared beside the reclining chair again. It was Tsunade. Affected by Lu Han's discovery of the ghost troop and killing ninja, the layout of the water country Kurigakure village to the vortex country changed, which led to a change in Tsunade's mission. After coming to Uzushiogakure village for so many days, the 3 Tsunade were also idle. It's going to die, and I can't go out on a mission. Xiao Han, wake up Tilda, Tsunade gently pushed Lu Han. Lu Han woke up when Tsunade appeared, took off the Kabuto hat on his head, tilted his head and stared at Tsunade and asked, what's wrong? Lu Han was frightened. When would Tsunade be like this? Speak softly, still cold, don't be afraid of goosebumps. That. Tsunade suddenly looked embarrassed, hesitated for a while, and said hesitantly, Can you lend me some money? Why are you borrowing money? Lu Han asked subconsciously, then stood up abruptly and shouted, you went to gamble again. Did you lose? Yes. Seeing Lu Han's reaction, Tsunade was about to lose face, his eyes flickering, and some dared not look into Lu Han's eyes. Ha ha ha. Lu Han laughed directly, and immediately took out a handful of money from his arms and threw it to Tsunade. Take it. Take it all. It's good to lose. Tsunade lost. She gambled money and began to memorize words again, which showed that her crisis had been lifted. Tsunade was stunned. Are you sick? I lost you so happy. So happy to give money. What do you mean? Tsunade asked, frowning. Do you want it? Don't you give it back to me. Lu Han tried to grab it. Tsunade took a step forward, twisted his waist and disappeared in front of Lu Han. You run fast. Lu Han muttered with a smile, in a good mood, and then turned back to his height and shouted, come out for me. Assemble. Prepare for the mission. Call. 5 black robe masks appeared in front of Lu Han. Lu Han's expression became serious, and he took out the mask and put it on his face. Target water country, set off. Lu Han ordered. Yes. The 5 ninjas agreed in unison. Wait a minute. Senju Nazara's voice suddenly sounded from behind. Lu Han looked back and saw Senju Xuan enter the courtyard side by side with a black-robed masked ninja. The name displayed on the head of the black-robed masked figure made Lu Han subconsciously frown. Great Yuhi name. Konoha Anbu Squad Leader, Level 40 Bronze Boss, Shimura Fire Store. Why did he come here? Seeing Lu Han looking back, Senju raised his hand to signal, turned his head and whispered something to Shimura Hirozo, then turned around and walked out. He came here to bring Shimura Hirozo over. Shimura Huazang walked quickly to Lu Han, took out a scroll, and said solemnly, command from Captain Anbu. Personnel transfer. In order to ensure the safety of the temporary scout leader, Hangguang, the special team leader, Fengwo, came to meet with Hangguang's company, the original 5 ninjas responsible for the safety of Hangguang, as an independent team, go to the land of water first. Hangguang. After Shimura finished reading, she put down the scroll and looked at Luhan hoarsely. I am responsible for your safety now. When was the order? Luhan frowned and asked back. Something was wrong. 7 days ago. Shimura continued. I persuaded the captain to send me to protect you. Luhan's eyes narrowed. Yuhi took the initiative to protect. He came to kill me. Chapter 0153 The world is changing too fast. Although Shimura Huazang took the initiative to come here, there may be other conspiracies, but intuition tells Luhan that Shimura Huazang is here to kill himself. The reason for this intuition is because Luhan wants to kill him. Luhan wanted to kill Shimura Huazang, the guy who came full of malice, so as to get the first kill of the level 40 bronze boss. A rating of 40 is an elite Jonin. If you kill the boss, you will explode the A-rank ninjutsu scroll. Maybe even more than one. So he hopes that Shimura Hozo is here to kill himself. Good anti-kill. Captain Fengwo. Luhan paused and said indifferently, the order you brought has expired. What? What doesn't work? Shimura's tone changed. Hangguang. Are you trying to disobey Captain Hitaki's orders? Of course not. Luhan, who was wearing a mask, looked at Shimura, who was also wearing a mask. It's just, you left Konoha 7 days ago, right? You never return to Konoha these days, right? Yes, Shimura said. I left Konoha 8 days ago. Luhan continued. That is to say, you left Konoha the day after I left Konoha, and you haven't been back to Konoha for the past few days, right? Yes, Shimura said hoarsely. At that time, I wanted to chase you, and I went to the boating base on the eastern coast first, and learned that you did not pass, so I guess that you may have taken the route of the country of Vortex, and I took a detour to the country of Vortex, so it took some time. I only arrived at Uzushiogakure village today. According to your speed, you should have been here a few days earlier. Why haven't you set off for the country of water? Quote. Question. I refuse to answer this question. Luhan said lightly. Hangguang, you have to find out your identity. Shimura said fiercely, I was assigned by Captain Hitaki to protect you. If necessary, I want the right to let you do as I ordered, and you must answer mine. Question. Ha. Luhan smiled and took a few steps forward abruptly. He stopped near Shimura's hiding place. He stared into Shimura's eyes and said very quickly, you want to find out who you are. 6 days ago, I found the trail of the Kurigakure troops on the southeastern border of the Fire Nation, and led the team to break through. 5 days ago, with the help of the Uzushiogakure village stronghold, the information was sent to Konoha. 3 days ago. Received a reply letter from Lord Hokage. I have been appointed by Lord Hokage to be the 7th captain of Anbu, and at the same time serve as the interim captain of this mission to hunt down missing nin. All the ninjas participating in this mission are in full control. Luhan said, raising his hand again, shaking checked the sleeves. The wide and fat sleeves slid down, revealing Luhan's very delicate hand, with a black ring on the middle finger of that hand. There is a word engraved in the center of the ring, dark. There are also 2 patterns around the word, dark, which are 2 leaves. Konoha Anbu, Interim Captain's Ring of Harmony. Generally speaking, this kind of ring will only be issued during the war, because people often die during the war. When a team leader or temporary leader dies, a new leader needs to be appointed, but the news cannot be conveyed to every Anbu ninja in time. So you need something to prove your identity. Shimura Hozo was stunned. Anbu 2.5 months ago. At this time, he has been promoted to the team leader. He has been entrusted by Hokage with an important task. Shimura is unprepared. He spent nearly 10 years in Anbu before he became the team leader. Why is Han? Because Luhan didn't tell Shimura Hozo about killing Feinin, Shimura Hozo was a little hard to understand. Luhan deliberately didn't say it, knowing that Shimura Huazang came with malice. Of course he wouldn't tell Shimura Huazang that he had become stronger. And as long as Luhan doesn't say it, others won't say it. Anbu has strict rules and no one will chew his tongue. Nympha vision of dark faith. Shimura Huazang suddenly hand seal, clasped his hands together, and stared at the black ring. This is Konoha Anbu's ninjutsu to verify the authenticity of the token. It is not difficult to learn, every Anbu ninja can. In Shimura's eyes, the word, dark, on the ring gradually changed, and the twisted lines were reconstructed into two smaller words, cold light. The ring is real. This kind of ring cannot be used universally. It is customized one-to-one by Anbu researchers for ninjas. Whoever customizes it will display its Anbu code under the dark letter vision, ninjutsu. Believe it. Luhan shook his hand at Shimura Huazang again, and then put it down. If there is no doubt, I think you should understand that Captain Hataki's order has expired, and now it is about the task of chasing missing nin. I am solely responsible. Now you have two choices. First, return to Konoha. Second, stay and protect me, but you must obey my orders. Quote. Shimura Hozo didn't answer right away, but was silent for a while. Just go back like this. If you can't complete the task given by Danzo-sama, how will you be treated when you go back? Shimura can vaguely understand why Danzo wants to die because Han is suspicious. But it is valued by Hokage. For two reasons, this dubious guy can't make him an important figure in Konoha, otherwise it may bring disaster to Konoha. Secondly, Danzo is selfish, he never gave up being Hokage. He has to clear out the competition existing now, or will grow into a competitor in the future. Danzo can't oust Sarutobi Hiruzen now, nor can he hurt Hatake Sakumo, who has been regarded as one of the successors by Hokage, so he can only pick soft persimmons. In that case, Shimura finally said, then I'll stay. Okay. Luhan nodded, turned to look at Kato and the others who had been standing not far away, and ordered, Captain order, from now on my safety is in charge of Captain Fengwo. The five of you form an independent team, go first to the land of water. Quote. Yes. The five ninjas took orders in unison. Luhan just said that Hatake Sakumo's order is invalid, but his arrangement is the same as Hatake Sakumo's order. As well as, who exactly wants to kill whom? Shimura Huazang set foot on the road to the land of water, only one of them could return to Konoha alive. Chapter 0154 Yuhi Teammates _ After Anbu Wuren received Luhan's order, he left first, with Kato as the temporary captain, and they had to go to the land of water first. Uchiha Gumu's traces in the land of water before. There are 5 teams that Luhan is solely responsible for mobilizing at this time, all of which are the minimum 5-man team. Counting Luhan himself and Shimura Huazang, a total of 27 ninjas from Anbu were used in this mission to hunt down Uchiha Gumu. Actually, chasing down the S-rank missing nin didn't require such a big move from Anbu at all, but Uchiha Gumu's betrayal was really bad. Konoha village has not had such a level of ninja mutiny as Uchiha Gumu for many years, so Anbu must clear Uchiha Gumu as soon as possible, to eliminate its adverse effects. Anbu 5 ninjas left at noon. In the afternoon, Luhan hadn't left yet. If he wanted to delay the time, he had to stagger the time to go to the land of water with Kato-ri and others, so that he would not be disturbed when he and Shimura Hozo went on the road together. Luhan wasn't sure when Shimura Huazang would do something to himself or when he should do it, but at least he had to make sure that no one else would disturb him. All afternoon, Luhan was in retreat and practice. Until evening, Tsunade returned from the casino. Luhan and Tsunade had dinner together. During the dinner, Tsunade never dared to look Luhan's eyes, and he had few words of promise. Obviously, he lost money again. Luhan didn't ask about this, but explained the change of mission to Tsunade and explained the matter of going with Wind-Fire. A new day. Early in the morning, Luhan and Shimura Huazang left the village of Uzushiogakure and went straight to the largest port in the east of the country of vortices, where there are fast boats to the country of water. In the undulating mountains and forests, 2 black shadows moved forward rapidly. Shimura Fire was in front and Luhan was behind. This was what Luhan asked, because he was uneasy about handing his back to Shimura Fire. Shimura Fire. Yes, can elite Jonin. If he was attacked by Shimura, Luhan couldn't be sure that he could react in time. Time passed, and soon it was noon. The two did not stop for lunch and continued on their way. From Uzushiogakure village, and there is no one around at this time. If you can do it to Shimura at this time, it will be fine. Neither. I said yes, because no one bothered me here, and Shimura didn't have any helpers, so Luhan could do his best without any scruples. Shimura here, how should he explain it back to Konoha? There is no way to explain it. Luhan couldn't kill Shimura Huazang without any reason. Shimura Huazang has not yet revealed his murderous intention. And even if Luhan said that Shimura was the first to do it, it wouldn't work. Because saying that he killed Shimura Hozo will reveal all his strengths. Unless Luhan doesn't go back to Konoha, he kills Shimura and leaves, but it's not worth it at all. For the first kill of a level 40 bronze boss, he gave up all the efforts he made to advance in Konoha. Not worth it. So Luhan needs a chance. After killing Shimura, there is enough reason to explain Shimura's death. There must be no flaws. Luhan knows very well that in less than 5 months since he came to this world, he has done too many incomprehensible things. This kind of abnormality is okay once or twice. Question. So Luhan needs a chance without flaws. In fact, Shimura is also the same. He also needs such an opportunity, because he also has to return to Konoha. He must make a very reasonable explanation for the death of Hengwang, and even get rid of the responsibility of protection. Otherwise, even if Tsunade does not tear without him, Hokage won't make it any easier for him. The breeze was gentle, the trees were rustling, and in the sultry forest, the two people who were also harboring ghosts advanced rapidly. On this day, the two walked through the forest, across the grassland, and over the mountains. Finally, the evening, Luhan and Shimura finally stopped after a long day of traveling, and found a foothold under the leeward wall of a low mountain. There are several strange rocks under the mountain wall, forming a relatively complex shelter structure. Not far away is a small lake with a water source. Night. Under the mountain wall, a fire rose in the small space between several strange rocks. Luhan was the only one. Shimura went to look for food, and it had been a while before he returned. Luhan opened the small map and glanced at it again, and determined the location of Shimura's fire pit. In the woods 2 kilometers away, it had begun to move back. Shimura Huazang is Luhan's teammate, and his name is Yuhi, so on the minimap, the dots representing him are Yuhi blue flashing alternately. This display method has only 2 meanings. The first is that he is malicious to Luhan. Teammate, the second type is a spy and a traitor. Shimura Huazang suddenly jumped up from behind the big stone, holding a killed wild boar in his hand. Soon, the aroma of barbecued meat wafted up. The two of them had a very silent dinner. Shimura rarely took the initiative to talk to Luhan, and Luhan didn't bother to talk to him. Because Luhan is the captain, Shimura's chores are done by Shimura. After Luhan finished eating, he found a tree nearby and jumped up to sit and rest. Shimura stomped on the fire and jumped on it. Luhan rested on the tree beside him. He really acted like a dutiful guard. As the night got darker, Luhan hadn't slept. Don't dare to sleep, the ghost knows what Shimura is thinking, just in case. Night. Shimura's breathing was even, but he fell asleep peacefully. Luhan wasn't sleepy, he was just dozing off. Every 30 minutes, Luhan opened and closed the minimap, which was already his habit. Late at night, Luhan opened his eyes slightly, opened and closed the minimap again, and then his face changed dramatically. All of a sudden he sat upright on the tree. 7 Yuhi points appeared on the minimap. 4 kilometers to the north, that includes a big Yuhi point with a leader status. If it was an ordinary hostile ninja, Luhan would not be so unsteady, and the other party was no longer extraordinary. Great Yuhi Point. The 7 Ninja Swordsmen of Mist Level 50 Gold Boss Munashi Oni 7. Chapter 0155 The 7 People of the Ninja Sword of the Mist. The 7 ninja swordsmen of this generation. Lu Han murmured subconsciously. Can't go wrong. Although Lu Han could only see the name of one of them, there were exactly 7 of them. Headed by another level 50 gold boss, he can't bring 6 other Kurigakure ninjas, can he? Not such a coincidence. Lu Han had seen the information of the 7 people in Anbu. They are the strongest combination in Kurigakure Anbu. Because they are powerful, they never hide their identities during missions. Because they are fearless. 7 people, 7 knives. In the current Konoha Anbu Master information, there is no information about their mission mist. 7 people of the Ninja Sword of Mist are mentioned. The former generation was active in the Third Ninja War, and the latter generation was in the timeline of the original drama. The most famous one is the Beheading Sword, Momochi no Longer Cut, and Kisame Hoshigaki, with shark muscles. They were originally a group of 7 ninja swordsmen, but in the end they all betrayed the village of Kurigakure and became a Super S-class missing nin. Lu Han knew that the group of 7 members of the generation of Ninja Blades of the Mist that he met now was not mentioned in the original book. Perhaps because of the change in Lu Han's breathing, Shimura Huazang, who was sitting on another tree, suddenly woke up. He first held the kunai around his waist vigilantly, then turned to look at Lu Han and asked in a low voice, "What's wrong?" Lu Han's eyes were dignified. He made a situational gesture to Shimura Huazang, and pointed back to the north. "Call, call." The two moved at the same time, dashing up the canopy of their respective trees, all the way up to the highest point where they could be hidden, and opened the branches and leaves to look out. The moon today is round and bright. It was dark in the forest. Shimura looked into the distance. After a while, he frowned and looked at the tree where Lu Han was. He didn't see anything, and he didn't feel any danger. Call. A whirlwind suddenly swept around Shimura Huazang. Lu Han appeared, and the two squatted on the same tree branch. "What did you find?" Shimura asked in a low voice. "Dangerous." Lu Han replied briefly. He still looked north. "Don't be too nervous, I'll protect you," Shimura said. Lu Han hurriedly made a silent gesture to Shimura Hozo. The distance was getting closer and closer. Lu Han couldn't determine how far the ninja swordsman could detect, so be careful. A look of dissatisfaction flashed in Shimura's eyes, but he didn't say anything. He worked hard to be a sidekick all the way. That was because of Hokage's order. Lu Han was the captain, he couldn't disobey. He was naturally dissatisfied, but he couldn't show it. "Damn brat, it's right that Danzo-sama wants you to die." "Wait." Shimura's eyes flickered, then turned to look out. Waited for a while. "Did you see it?" Lu Han suddenly asked in a low voice. "What?" Shimura huffed back and stared out, still not finding it. "You can see it right away," Lu Han said. He had vaguely seen rows of Yuhi characters. Getting closer and closer, the 7 members of the Mist Ninja Sword were less than a kilometer away from Lu Han, and they were still approaching fast, because they did not hide their traces, but just marched in groups, so Shimura Huazang soon saw that the distance was far away. There are tree crowns shaking, one after the other. It's ninjas jumping up and down the trees. Shimura's heart was raised immediately, and she couldn't help but glance at Lu Han again. "How did you find out? How far away did you find it?" Lu Han naturally won't explain to Shimura, just let Shimura guess. It doesn't matter what he guesses, because Lu Han won't let Shimura go back to Konoha alive. Lu Han kept staring, and gradually the rows of Yuhi-colored text became clear in Lu Han's eyes. The 7 Ninja Swordsmen of Mist Level 50 Gold Boss Munashi Oni 7. The 7 Ninja Swordsmen of Mist, Level 50 Gold Boss, Chapter Heim. The 7 Ninja Swordsmen of Mist Level 50 White Silver Boss Bana. The 7 Ninja Swordsmen of Mist Level 50 White Silver Boss Ringo Hiyori. The 7 Ninja Swordsmen of Mist Level 50 White Silver Boss Mangosteen. The 7 Ninja Swordsmen of the Mist, Level 50 White Silver Boss, Wooden Bullets. The 7 Ninja Swordsmen of the Mist Level 50 Bronze Boss Ma and Kangren. are bosses with a rating of 50. 2 of them have reached the limit of level 50, gold title. They are all beings beyond elite Jonin. Luhan once calculated that the rating of the 3 Tsunade should be at level 50, that is to say, the strength of the 7 members of the Mist Ninja Sword is stronger than that of Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru. The main difference is the number of people. In Konoha Anbu, I'm afraid I can't find 7 combinations that can compare with the 7 people of the Kiri no Ninja Sword. Of course, this does not mean that Konoha Village and Kurigakure Village are weak. Quite the contrary, Konoha is stronger. Konoha Anbu is only a small part of Konoha. There are more strongmen in Konoha who will not join Anbu, such as Hyuga Main Clan, Branch Chief, Uchiha Chief, Elder, Hitaki Clan, Aburame Clan, Akamichi Clan. These Konoha super clans are in the big clan. There are strong people in high positions. Because of their status, it is impossible for them to join Anbu. Level 50. Level 50. Luhan muttered twice, clenching his fists subconsciously. If he has the ability to kill the 7 ninja swordsmen of Mist, the reward he obtained will definitely make a qualitative leap in his strength. At least the strength after the leap is close to that of Anbu Captain Hitaki Tsukumo. Possibly even beyond. However, just think about it. Luhan knew that as long as he showed up now, he would definitely be shot to death. Give me another 2 years. No, 1 year, before the outbreak of the Second Ninja World War. I can definitely do it. The 7 ninja blades of the mist. When I grow up, Luhan made up his mind secretly. People should always have a goal in life. His goal in Konoha now is to become Captain Anbu, and externally kill the 7 people of the Mist Ninja Sword. It's the enemy, Shimura Huazang suddenly said. It's not the Konoha ninja, nor the Uzushiogakure village ninja. I'll kill them. As soon as Shimura's voice fell, he rushed out without waiting for Luhan to respond. Luhan's eyes were bigger than Bull's eyes. He was stunned. Chapter 0156_hard to guard against. Shimura Hozo even rushed out. Luhan finally understood what the meaning of the word ignorant was because he was in this state. Shimura Fire Store is simply to death. Also pull a back pad. With his level 40 bronze boss strength, he will be killed by the 7 ninja blades of mist in 1 round. He might also expose Luhan. Luhan wants to scold his mother. Is Shimura a pig brain? It may be because of preconceived ideas. Luhan knew the strength of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, so he knew that he had to hide it well until they passed by. From Shimura's point of view, during the mission, if you find an alien ninja who is not an allied force, you can take action. You can also not start. After all, he is powerful, and even if he makes a move, it may not take much time. But it's still a little weird. Luhan suddenly frowned. He felt something was wrong. Shimura's mission was to protect Luhan. According to the rules of guarding ninjas, he had to ensure Luhan's absolute safety before leaving Luhan's side. But now Luhan is not absolutely safe. This guy is. Luhan looked outside, his eyes narrowed again. He found the problem. Shimura Huazang went the wrong way. He did not run in the direction of the 7 ninja swordsmen of mist, but leaned towards the denser forest on the side. Sudden, a strong sense of crisis enveloped Luhan. Shimura is running in a stealth manner. His speed is extremely fast, but he hardly makes a sound. After all, he is an elite Jonin, and he has joined Anbu for more than 10 years. He still has anti-tracking capabilities. It's them. It's them. Shimura Huazang was both frightened and excited. His heart beat faster. It's the 7 ninja swordsmen from Kurigakure village. Ha ha ha. God is helping me. He recognized who the 7 were. Of course he recognized it. Because the 7 ninja swordsmen of mist never hide their faces when they perform their missions. Although they were born in Kurigakure Anbu, they are confident in their strength and are not afraid of being known by the enemy. Konoha Anbu already has portraits of the 7 of them. The most important is, their weapons have been passed down from generation to generation. How could Shimura not know it? Die. I can complete the mission without my hands. I have a perfect explanation, and I won't be punished for being unfavorable in protection, ha ha ha. Shimura Hozo was getting more and more excited. He thought that the mission of assassinating Han would require it can only be completed when the country of water encounters chaos, and I didn't expect to have a chance just one day after leaving Uzushiogakure village. Thinking about it, Shimura looked back at Lu Han's direction, and suddenly raised his hand to hand seal. ... Danger. At the same time, Lu Han felt a chakra fluctuation. He suddenly turned back to look at the fluctuation, his eyes suddenly narrowed, and he secretly shouted, "Damn," and jumped up in an instant. Detonator. Just now, where Shimura was squatting, a detonating talisman was posted on the side of the branch at some point. Boom. Fire erupts. The entire canopy was lit directly, and the fire rising in the roar was so dazzling in the night. He knows who those people are. He wants to reveal my position. He wants me to die. Fuck. Lu Han instantly understood. It is simply impossible to guard against. Hearing the roaring sound, Shimura Hozo glanced back with a smile on his lips, and suddenly sped away. It's freezing cold. Even if he could dodge the blasting talisman's attack, even if he wasn't injured at all, he would still be killed by the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Those powerful and inhuman guys have never turned over any prey. ... Dim forest. The group of 7 people, led by Munashi Guichi, are on their way. They have been searching the country for 2 days, looking for someone who can ask for information, but they have not yet found anything. Boom. A few hundred meters ahead suddenly burst into flames, extremely dazzling. Exploding talisman, Munashi said with a frown and waved his hand immediately. The 7 people speeded up in an instant. In the dim environment, they were almost invisible, and they could only hear the rustling wind, which only took a few breaths. Next moment, a whirlwind rolled up beside a burning tree. 7 people appeared around the tree. Chapter-141 and Ringo Day in a group. A set of Barna and wooden projectiles. Mangosteen and Ma Ankang are a group. They were all back to back, showing their weapons and looking around with extreme vigilance. Only Munashi Guichi was alone, but he also grabbed the hilt of the big sword with one hand over his shoulder, ready to attack at any time. They still don't know who is here, whether they are enemies or friends, how strong they are, because everything is unknown, but they are so vigilant. This is the guarantee that the 7 of them can run rampant in the ninja world and become synonymous with terror. Acting style does not mean mindless recklessness. On the contrary, they have always been careful. No one. Munashi Guichi kept looking around, his icy eyes filled with doubts. Any one of you found the problem? Did you run away? The beautiful woman named Zhongheim leaned on Ringo's back and looked at the surroundings that had been illuminated by firelight. There was a mountain wall not far away, and a forest in the other direction. I didn't find it. Strange. Munashi Guichi looked at the burning tree again, frowning deeper. The detonating talisman. Is someone fighting here? How many people? There is no burnt smell of corpse. Zhongheim said. Really run away? Munashi Kiichi slowly let go of the hand holding the hilt. Forget it. Zhongheim looked at Munashi Ghost 7. Let's not waste time here. It may be just a few nameless people. Run away. Remember our mission. Find the murderer who killed Fei Nin, and take revenge for Fei Nin. This is Mizukage-sama's death order. Got it. Stop talking. Munashi Guichi glanced at Zhongheim and said impatiently. Munashi Ghost 7 and Zhongheim are almost the same in strength, and because Munashi Ghost 7 first became a member of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, he has more seniority, so he is currently the most dominant among the 7 people, but Zhongheim has always wanted to compete with Munashi Guichi for the identity of the first person in the 7 ninjas. He is also used to talking about Mizukage, which Munashi Guichi is very tired of. Behind the rock more than 100 meters away, Lu Han, who remained in the hidden state, was shocked. Are they here to avenge Fino? Chapter-157_Chase Shimura Hozo. Are they coming to find me and kill me? Lu Han, who was completely incapable of breathing into the darkness in the hidden state, widened his eyes a bit. Although it was a coincidence, it was too lucky. It was lucky to be able to hear the conversation of the 7 ninja swordsmen. It's even luckier to be hunted down by them. Bad luck. Thinking about it, Luhan slowly took out 8 or 9 small blue bottles from the space backpack, opened the lids one by one, and drank them one by one. Although he has a lot of chakra now, he still can't maintain the hidden state for a long time. I remember that when Luhan first obtained the secret technique, the hidden technique, he could only hold on for 7 seconds and all the chakras would be consumed. And now, Luhan can only last for 50 seconds. So he had to replenish the chakra by using the small blue bottle. Next to a burning tree. Because no problem was found, the 7 ninjas all put away their weapons, and they did not search the surroundings. It was completely unnecessary. This time they entered the country of Vortex with a mission. Super S-grade quests. Although they are cold-blooded and ruthless, they can't always find any doubts and search around to find someone. I'll clean up this place. Zhongheim, who is beautiful but cold as a snake Sasori, said. Okay. Munashi Onishi nodded. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The figure of 6 paths moved at the same time and ran towards the dim forest. Zhongheim was still standing beside the burning tree. He looked back and glanced around, then his knees suddenly bent and he jumped up instantly. Sweden, water style, white tide art. Zhongheim jumped dozens of meters into the air and launched an A-level ninjutsu with amazing destructive power. The turbulent water flow spit out from Zhongheim's mouth, like a dam opening the gate to release water, and a huge amount of seawater hit the ground. Damn it! Luhan, who was hiding behind the rock, responded instantly, pressing his hands on the rock in front of him, and his palms pierced bone spurs with barbs. Boom tilde boom tilde boom tilde. The terrifying current directly smashed the ground into a large pit with a diameter of tens of meters, and then spread to both sides. The seawater with huge power was like a tsunami, and it continuously destroyed the surrounding trees. Only some extremely thick large ones. The trees and rocks survived, and after a roar, a large area of the forest beside the mountain wall was destroyed, and a large lake with a diameter of nearly half a kilometer was added. Terrifying A-level ninjutsu. Indiscriminate attack. Zhongheim is not sure if the person really escaped or is hiding nearby, so I plan to clean it up. If someone is hiding here, the weaker will definitely die, and the stronger will have to use ninjutsu to fight, otherwise not dead or seriously injured. Call. Zhongheim gently landed on the lake without stepping on a ripple. In the lake, Luhan, who used Shikatsumiku, dead bone pulse, ability to fix himself behind the rock, was in tatters and had torn holes on his body, but he did not bleed. Luhan did his best to control himself not to bleed. He wasn't mortally wounded, so the injury looked serious, but he only lost 16% of his health. This is also related to the fact that Luhan is far away from the ninjutsu landing point. If he is directly hit by the water falling from the sky, it is very likely that the blood tank will be directly emptied. Sure enough, it ran. Zhongheim glanced at the lake again, then stopped, flew over the lake, and chased in the direction of Munashi Guichi and others. After the rocks in the lake, Luhan opened the mini-map every once in a while, until it was confirmed that the 7 members of the Ninja Blade of Mist had all left the maximum monitoring range of the mini-map, and then he retracted the bone spurs that pierced like rocks. Bang! The newly formed Dahu Lake suddenly burst into water, and Luhan rolled over and landed on the lake smoothly. It looks a little miserable. The clothes and trousers all over his body have been torn into strips by the water, and the wounds have not yet fully healed. Luhan's whole body seems to be only the mask intact. 7 people of ninja swordsmen. My day, your uncles. Luhan cursed and removed the mask, revealing a pale face, and heaved a sigh of relief. So thrilling. Unexpectedly, the dead woman named Zhongheim finally left with a ninjutsu. She did it even when she didn't see the enemy. Chakrado's useless. She really deserves the reputation of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Luhan's mood was a little depressed. In the 4 or 5 months since he came to this world, This is the first time he has suffered such a loss. He was first hit by Shimura's fire pit, and then he was hurt by Zhongheim, but he couldn't resist. Luhan understands that he can't be impulsive. Zhongheim is a character with the same strength as Tsunade and Orochimaru, not to mention that the 7 people of the Ninja Blade of Mist are 7 people. The price of impulsiveness is death. Shimura Huazang, you must think I'm dead. Luhan bit Kiba and gnashed his teeth as he thought, his eyes flashing with a cold light. Took out a small Yuhi bottle and drank it, and Luhan's injuries recovered quickly. Secret art, even dress-up art. Bang tilde the white smoke rose. When the white smoke dissipated, Luhan had put on the brand new Anbu costume. Shimura Huazang, you damn bastard, how dare you? Luhan raised his mask and put it on his face slowly, his voice getting lower and lower, you two deserve to die. Call. Lu Hanhua turned into a glimpse. Flying over the lake, rushing into the forest, and running towards the direction of Uzushiogakure village. Luhan's mood is very depressed. He wants to relieve this depression. Chase Shimura Hozo. Only Shimura Fire hides to death. Let Luhan complete the first kill of the level 40 bronze boss. Only then can he make up for Luhan's mental trauma. Luhan has no scruples. Shimura's daring to kill Luhan is nothing more than finding a flawless opportunity. That's the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. The reverse is also true, they have no chance for Luhan. Kill Shimura Hozo and blame the 7 ninja swordsmen of mist. The battle traces have been left, and Luhan no longer needs to forge anything. As long as Shimura Fire hides to death. Luhan, who rushed into the forest, was getting faster and faster. He blessed his legs with physical magic, which would make the chakra consumption very violent, but Luhan didn't care. He had already saved hundreds of small blue bottles, even if it doesn't matter if you use it every time. Must catch Shimura before he returns to Uzushiogakure village. As long as he is killed, the A-rank ninjutsu scroll will be exploded. There are also innumerable ingots. Chapter 0158_Think Too Much. Late at night. A forest shrouded in dim moonlight. Shimura hurried away after detonating the detonator, never looking back. Although he was very excited to be able to complete the task of killing Han so quickly, the 7 people of the Ninja Blade of Mist also made him terrified. He wanted to grow wings and fly back to Uzushiogakure village. Only when he got there was it really safe. There was Konoha Anbu there. Among the team leaders, Senju Nazara, the strongest in the country of Vortex, Uzumaki Jinghai, the country of Vortex, a group of masters in the country of Vortex, thousands of Uzushiogakure ninjas, and the 7 people of the Ninja of the Mist are even more courageous. Big, and dare not invade there. Shimura hides his fear, so it's not that he is timid. He is Konoha's elite Jonin, strong in strength and knowledgeable, and because of this, he can see how big the gap is between himself and the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Take Konoha Anbu as an example. In Konoha Anbu, he can say that his strength alone stabilizes the fog. No one of the 7 members of the ninja swordsmen is the leader, Hitaki Tsukumo. Senju Nozomi is very strong, but at most it is a tie with one of the 7 members of the Mist Ninja Sword, and it is impossible to stabilize. Run all the way. Shimura didn't know how long he ran, and finally rushed into the forest and entered a grassland. The grassland under the moonlight looked extremely dreamy. Although it was not bright, it could see very far. The grassland seemed to be covered with a layer of silver yarn. Shimura continued to run wildly. For a full hour, he crossed the entire grassland and entered a forest. He finally stopped. Damn it! The 7 ninja swordsmen actually came to the country of the Vortex, ha ha ha. Well done. Shimura Hozo seemed like a lunatic, scolding and then laughing because he thought of an extremely important thing. Intelligence. He escaped from the 7 ninja swordsmen of Mist. And bring the information back to the village of Uzushiogakure. Great work. It is not a trivial matter that the 7 people of the Ninja Blade of the Mist haunt the country of the Vortex. Although Han Guang was killed, he had the responsibility to protect it, but since the enemy is the 7 ninja swordsmen, no one will pursue this responsibility. The entire ninja world knows what level of ninja the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist are, and it is the weapon that Kurigakure Mizukage relies on the most, and it will never be unfavorable. It is already luck to be able to escape under their hands. After completing the task given by Lord Danzo, he also made great contributions. The more Shimura thought about it, the more excited he became. He couldn't help pacing back and forth in the same place, and said for a while, this level of information should be enough to get Anbu's merit. After all, it was a desperate effort to escape, haha. The merits obtained this time should be exchanged for the opportunity to learn the forbidden technique. Lord Hokage should not be stingy. And Lord Danzo, yes, he will definitely reward me. Maybe I can also practice forbidden technique, if my strength improves again and reaches the level of Senju Norihara. In that case, I will retire in Anbu in the future and should be able to become an elder. Anbu elder must be a ninja who has retired from Anbu and has dazzling achievements and is strong enough to serve. Although it is only an honorary title without rank, it has a great say in Konoha's high-level meeting. At the Konoha high-level meeting, Hokage has the biggest voice, followed by Hokage assistants, high-level advisors, Anbu captains, legion commanders, and others, followed by Anbu captains, the patriarchs of the various clans, and so on. Therefore, although Elder Anbu has no substantive rights, he has a very high status, can influence many things, and will also become the object of being attracted by higher authorities. In Konoha Anbu, the only person who can be sure that he will become an Anbu elder after retiring is the Anbu captain, not even the captain's assistant. Other Anbu members must meet the standards in terms of strength and merit, and also need the approval of Hokage to become Anbu elders when they retire. It's a symbol of honor and status that Shimura craves. It's not that he thinks too much, but that he is already old, over 40 years old, performing high-risk and difficult tasks all the year round. His body has begun to decline, and he even has plans to retire from Anbu voluntarily. Unlike other ninja units in Konoha, Anbu requires not only strength but also sufficient energy, so the average age of Anbu ninjas is only in their 20s. As long as you can retire from the Anbu battle sequence and become an Anbu elder, you will no longer need to perform any tasks, no longer need to work hard, and you can fully enjoy the stability and prosperity of Konoha. HMPH. Hengguang. My wish was fulfilled by a brat like you, and you deserve to die. Shimura Hozo was in a good mood, looking up at moonlight. After a little hesitation, he bit his finger. Spiritual. With one hand on the ground, the curse spread. After the white smoke rose, a bird the size of a slap appeared in front of Shimura's hiding place. Ninja Swift. This is a unique intelligence ninja at the root of Konoha. It is rare in number, fast and IQ. It has strong learning ability and trainability, but it has no fighting strength. Before leaving Konoha, Shimura had the opportunity to sign a temporary contract with a Swift under the arrangement of Danzo before leaving Konoha. The so-called temporary contract refers to a contract with a timeliness or the number of channelings. The latter signed by Shimura, there is only one chance to channel Swift, after which his name written on the covenant will disappear. Danzo gave Shimura Hozo a chance to quickly transmit information, and repeatedly told Shimura Hozo not to use Swift as a last resort. And now, Shimura Hozo feels that the task has been completed, and it doesn't matter if it is a last resort. Go and tell Danzo-sama. The mission is complete, Shimura said to Swift. Understood. Swift responded in a shrill voice, turning into a black light that shot straight into the sky, and quickly disappeared from Shimura's sight. A few hours later, early in the morning. From Uzushiogakure village, smoke from cooking smokes, Shimura is sitting on a stone by the lake, grilling fish. He was not in a hurry to go back to Uzushiogakure village, because according to normal logic, since he escaped while being chased, he would always be injured and take a detour, and he could not return to Uzushiogakure village too early. Shimura stood up abruptly and looked back, as if aware of something. Chapter 0159 _ I am your uncle. The Shimura fire hides in front of a small lake, and behind it is a small forest, where nothing but tree can be seen. Gently putting down the branch with the grilled fish in his hand, Shimura still looked in the direction of the woods. His eyes were extremely vigilant. He was sure that he felt something. It was definitely not an illusion. Years of life and death mission battles have given him an extraordinary sensitivity. Who is it? Come out. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Shimura shouted fiercely, putting his hand on his own hilt. The breeze was blowing, rolling up a few yellow leaves on the ground and rolling in front of the forest. In this early morning when insects and birds are singing, the air is very fresh and the atmosphere is very peaceful. Shimura seems to be overreacting. He still does not let down his guard. Whoosh whoosh. The harsh sound of breaking the air suddenly sounded, and the silver-gray light shot out from the woods. Shimura Huazang reacted in an instant, and then his pupils contracted violently and retreated. What was thrown was not a kunai that could be chopped off, but some metal balls, which Shimura knew. Blast the ball. Boom, 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 boom. One by one, the detonating balls exploded, and the flames joined together, burning the lake into a sea of fire. Shimura had already retreated to the lake. He responded in time, but he did not suffer any damage, but his heart sank to the bottom. Kurigakure Flying Ninja. Shimura Hozo can only think so, because the detonating ball is a special ninja tool developed by Kurigakure Village for Fino, and the cost is high. Shimura Hozo, who has experienced the first ninja war, has seen Fino used it. Shimura didn't have much time to think because after the Sea of Fire, there were strong chakra fluctuations after the Sea of Fire. Kaden, Fire Style, Great Fireball Jutsu. A deep, hoarse voice. Uchiha Clan. Shimura Huazang exclaimed and was a little confused. He just guessed that it was Kurigakure Flying Ninja, and then came Uchiha's signature ninjutsu Grand Fireball. This completely different change made Shimura's thinking a little confused. But he had no ambiguity in his hands, and completed the hand seal with extreme speed. Futon, Wind Style, Vacuum Burst. C-Rank Ninjutsu Vacuum Burst. The vacuum futon, wind style, ball with a diameter of more than 2 meters will burst into countless wind blades the moment it hits the target. It is a very powerful move in C-level futon, wind style, ninjutsu. The power of futon, wind style, ninjutsu. Rumble Boom. A huge fireball with a height of 4 or 5 stories and a diameter of more than 13 meters rose behind the Sea of Fire and rapidly bombarded the lake. Shimura, who had just blown out the vacuum explosion, fell into a state of madness. His eyes were as wide as bull's eyes, and his mouth was wide open as if his jaw had dislocated. Is this Grand Fireball? Is this the fucking Grand Fireball? This is indeed Grand Fireball. The aura fluctuations are exactly the same, only more intense. LV9 Ultimate Great Fireball Jutsu. Boom tilde boom boom. The ground almost shook. The moment the LV9 Ultimate Grand Fireball hit the lake, the entire valley was shaken. Whether it was the Sea of Fire by the lake or the vacuum explosion, it was directly destroyed by the huge Grand Fireball with a diameter of more than 13 meters. White mist and instant eruption filled the space for several miles, and some quickly dissipated because of the scorching heat that had not yet dissipated. The wind blew, and the mist in the valley was completely dissipated. The lake has disappeared, leaving only a huge rock pit. LV9 Ultimate Grand Fireball is more powerful than LV9 Ultimate Impatience Fire. It is close to the power of A-level ninjutsu, directly evaporating the water of a lake. On the north side of the huge rock pit is a mountain wall. The top of the mountain wall is dozens of meters high. The Shimura fire pit is standing on the edge, his shoulders are up and down, panting violently, and he stares at the other side of the huge rock pit below. In the woods, his back was soaked in cold sweat. Almost died. The flames that can instantly evaporate a small lake, if he hadn't jumped out in time, there would have been no bones left. He understands that he has been deceived. The other party calling Great Fireball Jutsu is just a kind of fraud, so that he can subconsciously launch a C-level ninjutsu confrontation. Generally speaking, ninjas do this in battle. Sea-level ninjutsu is just a tentative attack. The two sides are used to testing each other, and the more low-level ninjutsu is displayed, the faster the other party has taken the lead. You can hide in this way. It seems. You are a master who has performed some kind of advanced telekinesis. A low voice sounded again in the woods. Who are you, you bastard? Don't hide your head and show your tail. Shimura scolded angrily. I'm your uncle, said a low, hoarse voice. Call. A whirlwind suddenly rolled up in front of the woods, and a black-robed mask appeared out of thin air, staring at Shimura Hozo. Anbu. Shimura frowned, but he didn't see who it was at the first time, because he had already believed that Luhan was dead, until Luhan raised his hand and took off the mask. He almost jumped up in shock. Called out, cold light. Surprising, right? Luhan threw the mask on the ground, and looked at Shimura indifferently. You're still alive. I'm not dead. Are you disappointed? It's impossible. It's impossible. Shimura Hozo was completely out of his mind. Screams again and again, completely unbelievable. Before dawn, he was still imagining how Danzo would reward him, and how Hokage would reward him for the information on the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. He thought of taking the initiative to retire, thinking of becoming an Anbu elder, and even wanting to compete for the Shimura clan chief. And with Luhan appearing at this time, all his beautiful fantasies were shattered. Luhan is the captain. The credit for the intelligence of the 7 people of the Ninja Blade of Mist first fell on his head. Luhan is not dead. Danzo naturally couldn't reward Shimura Hozo, and what's worse, Shimura Hozo has already passed on to Danzo. I know you have a lot of questions you want to ask, but I don't want to answer you. Luhan looked indifferently and said, you and I have no grudges, but you worked for Danzo and came to kill me. This is an extreme mistake. I think you should understand that today is either your death or my death. Shimura Huazang's face changed continuously, and his gaze towards Luhan was not incredible to describe. Luhan seemed to know everything. Only one of us can go back alive. How dare we fight? Luhan asked with a knife in front of him, looking at the level 40 bronze boss named Xian Yuhi. Chapter 0160_Luhan vs. Shimura Fire Storage. Battle. Shimura Huazang looked at Luhan in disbelief. He hadn't escaped from that unbelievable emotion. Why was Hangguang able to release such a powerful Kaiden, fire-style ninjutsu? Grand Fireball. Why was he able to escape from the 7 men of the Ninja Blade of Mist? How strong is he? Has he been hiding his strength all the time? Why? And how did his detonating ball come about? Were so many questions that Shimura couldn't understand, but Luhan just said it again and wouldn't answer any of his questions. Shimura suddenly seemed to understand something and exclaimed, you are a Kurigakure spy. Escaped from the 7 men of the Ninja Blade of the Mist, there are detonating balls, hidden strengths. These clues together can indeed lead to such doubts about Luhan. Secret technique, shadow flash technique. Luhan was too lazy to talk nonsense with Shimura, so he jumped up in an instant. A flash appeared next to Shimura, and the blade slashed. How did you know the shadow flash technique? How did you know the root technique? Shimura Huazang screamed and stopped him. Clang, clang, clang. The two fought for a few knives, then jumped off the mountain wall and broke into the forest. Luhan said he wouldn't answer any questions from Shimura, so naturally he wouldn't say, is it necessary? Either you die or I die in battle. Those issues are no longer important. Shimura Huazang still looked at Luhan with suspicious eyes, but there was no ambiguity in his hand. The speed of the two of them is very fast, and Luhan even has a slight advantage in swordsmanship, because he has the strange power of Teishu, and he has used Teishu scrolls about swordsmanship many times, although those are only low-level sea-level swordsmanship scrolls, but also it made Luhan's swordsmanship have made great progress. Futon, Wind Style, Lianjuyu. Shimura has rich experience in fighting. He took advantage of the terrain to find the opportunity to perform ninjutsu. When he turned over and jumped on a rock, he jumped high and turned around and spat out a fist-sized futon, wind-style ball. Similar to Feng Xianhuo's ninjutsu, futon wind style balls hit Lu Han one after another. Lu Han kept dodging, and at the same time hand seal. Sweden water style swordfish art. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The water arrows were spit out by Lu Han, and they broke the futon wind style balls that hit. But when he saw Shimura and hand seal, he was very impatient and wanted to kill Lu Han quickly, for fear of what would happen again. Kaden fire style demon flame art. Call. The terrifying sense of crisis instantly enveloped Lu Han. The B-level Kaden fire style ninjutsu with extremely strong single-unit lethality. The flame that Shimura spit out was a deep yuhi color, and the flame quickly spread into a cloth-like object with a diameter of 3 meters. It looked like a living ghost, rushing towards Lu Han as fast as lightning. Sweden water style water formation wall. Lu Han quickly hand-sealed as he retreated violently. Wow tilde. The moment before being hit by the ghost flames, the water formation wall formed, covering Lu Han in all directions, with a bang sound. Not even water vapor. B-level defense Sweden water style ninjutsu water formation wall. It was directly destroyed. All the water was instantly evaporated, and there were still a lot of deep yuhi flames going towards Lu Han's cover. Lu Han was shocked. He didn't expect Shimura's Kaden fire style ninjutsu to have such power. The deep yuhi-colored flame hit the big sword that appeared in front of Lu Han. The sword was 2 meters long and half a meter wide. It was like a door panel, but it was a sophisticated weapon. Take it out from the space backpack and use it as a shield. Boom! With a thunderous roar, the fine sword was torn apart, but finally the ghost flame technique was completely neutralized. The huge shock wave swept all around, and Lu Han was blasted out like a cannonball. Can this stop it? Shimura Huazang was extremely surprised, because everything happened so fast, he didn't even see what was blocking the ghost flame. According to normal logic, it should be some kind of instant forbearance. Technique. The technique of ghost flames is not the strongest technique of Master Shimura Hozo, but it is the one that kills the most enemy Jonin. Because this trick is 2 yin. The attack range is not large, but the speed is extremely fast and the destructive power is extremely strong. How many times the hostile Jonin who had fought against Shimura Hozo was killed because he did not know the power of the ghost flame technique and only defended with ordinary B-level ninjutsu. Ha! Looking at Lu Han who fell to the ground in the distance, Shimura laughed again, with bloodthirsty excitement in his eyes. But that's it. It seems that you are really a spy from the village of Kurigakure, otherwise it would be impossible to escape from the fog. The 7 men of the ninja's sword escaped. Lu Han looked a little miserable. Although he was not burned by the real ghost flames, the final shock wave blew him up. His clothes were tattered, his body was full of tears, and his whole body had turned into a bloody man. Ghost flame technique. Lu Han, who was crawling on the ground, raised his head suddenly. The look in his eyes was even more excited than Shimura's. Drop the reel. Drop the reel. This is an unfamiliar technique to Lu Han, and it can definitely be exchanged in the subversive space, but Lu Han didn't pay attention to this technique before, and he didn't know how many ingots it would cost. Can't you get up? Shimura Huazang looked at Lu Han, let out a sinister laughter, and raised his hand again. Let me end you here. Die. Kaden fire style meteor shower. The terrifying flames blew into the sky, and then quickly struck Lu Han obliquely. These flames spread into fist-sized fireballs, each of which was like a cannonball falling, thousands. Class A ninjutsu, Kaden fire style meteor shower. The powerful Kaden fire style ninjutsu that can be exchanged for 20 ingots in the subversive space. Kaden fire style dragon fire bullet. The LV9 Ultimate Fire Dragon Fire Bomb blasted out the moment the meteor fire shower appeared, as if the meteor fire shower fired by thousands of artillery pieces collided fiercely with 3 huge fire dragon heads. The boom 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 was like a chemical reaction. 100-meter-high flames broke out in the valley, and they exploded one after another, and the fire finally spread throughout the valley. The terrifying power shock caused a landslide, and the entire valley was shaking. The shock wave had swept out of the valley, and even broke some small trees outside the valley. Lu Han quickly retreated before the burst of fire, and at the same time his gestures changed rapidly. Hand Seal performed defensive ninjutsu. The wind blew, and when the firelight dissipated, the whole valley changed completely. Everything in the valley was destroyed, the trees, vines, rocks. All disappeared, and the previously vibrant valley was dead.